asked me for a bio and my brain froze.
I had to write it for you. We are live. I appreciate everybody that makes it
We
in
are
tonight.
live.
We're gonna have Terry and Mudrabbit on tonight. If you guys can't see, we got
Hey.
Terry up here next to me and Mudrabbit down in the bottom.
Hello.
Hey.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing wonderful. How about yourself there, Jacob?
Can't complain. Running a little late. Got to go see a great choir concert before I made it on. So
Yeah.
I was gonna give you guys the floor and figure we had a few topics that we were just talking about backstage that I know we'll want to cover.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Mudrabbit, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Hey, Walkaroo.
I can't see the chat. Who else there?
Right now it's just seen Walkaroo said hi so far.
Hi, Walkaroo.
Yeah. Well, as you can see in the background, I have the wood burning stove going here. Last time that I was on the Jacob Waters show or some show, I made up some hamburger. Well, I thought that tonight I have a new recipe, and while we're chit-chatting here, I'm going to be cooking up some chicken with special ingredients. So hope you enjoy. So, yeah, Mudrabbit, big question tonight. Did you see the X-22 report?
Yes. Which one?
Yeah. The one that was just posted today.
2903?
There was.
I think today was 2903.
Let me see here. 2904.
Okay, I haven't seen 2904 yet. I saw the up to 2903B.
Okay. So, spoiler alert.
Go for it.
Yeah. Just for you, a fun little coincidence here. Again, there's no such thing as coincidences, but they broke the news that the DEFCON warning system tweeted yesterday, October 19th, 2022 at 11:18 p.m. Just one word. DEFCON warning system tweeted one word. That one word, ping.
Do you understand the significance of the numbers?
Walk us through that.
It's from the date 11/18/2011. I saw a post on Telegram today saying that showing a photograph of how they wrote the date. It was 2011-11-18. I think we've hit a 2-year delta.
Yeah.
But something's been in the works.
Yeah.
This whole thing with the white hats has been in operation since 2011. That is.
Yeah, astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. Yeah, it's such a shame that it has to take such a long time for everything to grow and progress. And
you remember the post?
You have to show them. It had
to be
you
this way.
You can't just tell them. You have to show.
And it had to be this way.
Yeah.
So what's the significance of that date?
Apparently, this operation has been underway since at least then.
Yeah.
So it's been in the planning stages years before.
And also the registration of truthsocial.com itself.
That's what it was.
The website. Yeah. It was like registered a long time ago.
So when they got their domain, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. Okay. The actual .com. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what mission is this? That do you guys just speculating on what the mission is, or do you guys have a pretty good idea of what the mission might be, or is it just?
We've always had a good idea. We've always had a good idea what the mission is. The only thing is we just don't know the details of what they're actually doing because they don't tell us. They even said they won't telegraph to their enemies.
Right.
So what they've done with the drops is they've given us, in order to sidestep laws concerning secrecy and those type of papers and information that's not generally known to the public, they offered it to us in from 2017 October until this year, the Socratic method. And those of us who understood the Socratic method started digging on all the stuff that they gave us. And it wasn't just any one special group of people. This is millions of people worldwide.
Crowdsource.
Yeah.
Crowdsource.
Right.
And something that I want to bring up is WWE, one of their big storylines that they're running just here, especially recently, is they wanted the fans to, as a crowdsource, start working on translating codes and decoding certain little drops and hints of time codes and QR codes and things like this, that obviously a big marketing campaign, and it worked incredibly well.
Yeah, they use the same thing that the deep state's been using against us all this time.
Art imitates life, and life imitates art.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a training that's going on here of what the public is receiving here.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly who or what is doing the training, but it's certainly just noteworthy to observe.
I think
what exactly is going on here. It's like learning at the next level for everyone all working together here.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, what was it, 1988, that they asked Donald Trump if he would ever run for president? What was that, Life magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this operation's been going on since Kennedy was shot. I really do. I think this thing is multi-generational. Just like the deep state actors are multi-generational, I think our white hats are multi-generational.
Well, and I mean, a lot of people in a lot of different fields say that some of these people are predetermined a while ago.
I don't know that it's predetermined, but I do know that anybody that would undertake an operation like this in the 1960s had to be multi-generational.
So when you say multi-generational, like, you think that
you had white hats back in the
because of their family?
60s. Yeah, you had white hats back in the 60s bringing their children up in just the same way the CIA did with their children, the same way the deep state does with their children. Our guys did the same thing with theirs. Well, the way they presented everything through the drops, they used their own weapon against them. And they turned it around and used it for good. Well,
the reason I wonder is because, like, what about families like the Bush family? Like, I don't feel like they would have pushed both Bushes necessarily if they didn't have to. I don't think George W. Bush had the same kind of push as his father or Jeb.
No, but they couldn't put Jeb in, and the other guy couldn't have handled it. He wasn't even well known.
Yeah.
And isn't it the Skull and Bones?
Kennedy.
W was in Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about Jeb or Neil.
Yeah. I honestly, I think this obviously goes back even further than Kennedy. I mean, it goes all the way back to wanting to get our independence from the Queen.
Oh, yeah.
From
it goes all
England.
The way back because Benjamin Franklin gave us the warning, and even Eisenhower before Kennedy put a warning out there. So it's been going on before, but I think the thing that just tripped it all off was Kennedy being assassinated.
Yeah. Yeah. It
I think
definitely was a straw on the back at the very least.
I think he was the powder keg that they were waiting to go off.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't know it was him necessarily, but it was. I'm trying
Have
to
any
move.
thoughts on Liz Truss?
Isn't that funny? Someone threatened her. Well, you know,
My first reaction was who? It what did this what happened?
yeah, right.
Oh, someone just resigned as prime minister of the United Kingdom again. Like, okay, it's what, Thursday? All right.
45 days.
That's how long she served.
45 days, huh?
Yep.
45 days. Okay.
Wow. I'm moving my computer out to the living room so I can see the chat.
Did they give a reason or no?
Yeah. What was it? I mean, was it? Did they actually cite any actual? Hey, I'm taking off because of my family, or
No,
there's
I
a
didn't
scandal over here, or
I
I'm
didn't
just
see anything.
tired. I don't know.
At
What?
oops, what was that?
Sorry,
Hey,
that was my
Chase.
phone.
Oh. At the time I read the article, they didn't have a reason.
But they haven't released anything since then.
No,
I
but
haven't heard much about it yet.
okay, who was the one that was there before Boris? The woman, I can't recall her name. The one that was crying when she resigned.
Was that no, I'm thinking of Germany. I'm not sure.
The one right before Boris.
Before Boris Johnson, I'm not really sure who was there.
Yeah,
before
she
Boris.
resigned because the White Hats went to her and told her that there was going to be an assassination on her. And that's why she resigned.
I mean, that's a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hope people aren't just getting scared into it for no reason, though. I hope there was some merit to that.
Oh, there was definitely some merit to that. She's still alive.
Soprano said, was it Theresa May?
Yeah, that's it. Hi,
Okay.
Sopranos fan.
Chase is in the audience saying hi to everybody.
I'm getting my computer out so I can see the chat. I'm on my phone. There it is. Oh, hello, Elaine.
Terry's getting his chicken fired up.
Okay, let me get this thing attached. Oh, okay, there we go. I should have had this out here beforehand. I got wrapped up in Truth Social.
What is there anything new coming from True Social now? Or?
Oh, there's a lot of new stuff on it all the time because now nothing is censored. But damn, a lot of patriots are angry and pissed off, and there's some division going on in the movement that's discouraging to see. But it's coming from people like Dilly, so I'm not too concerned about it.
I've been concerned about this for a while. I think there's been a split in the Republican Party or
Of
the
course.
Democratic Party for quite some time now.
There's a
Between the-
split in all the
being
parties
exasperated.
going on right now.
Yeah, all of them are splitting now.
You
Everything's
have Dim
crumbling.
enter, Dim exit, Repub enter, Repub exit.
Mhm.
The libertarians are going bonkers right now. It's mass chaos.
It is. It's crazy. You know, the letter told us enjoy the show. And that implies there's not a whole hell of a lot we can do other than what they recruited us to do. So just do what they ask you to do and let them handle the rest. Our part will become apparent shortly.
Mudrabbit, you got a question come in. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen for you. It's from Zachary Kim.
Hi, Zachary.
He said, by the way, what does Mudrabbit think of Universe Galaxy?
Hey, Chase. I haven't heard enough about him to make a judgment.
Fair enough.
I think I was in that first show, and I don't know, he said one thing that just didn't wash with me, and I was sleepy, so I went to bed. That's just the honest response.
Hey, Chase.
Hiya, Chase. Chase.
Yeah. Chase, did you see? Have the stove cooking here just for you.
How come my icon is not showing up there? It's showing on StreamYard.
I see the
We can see
Mudrabbit
it.
with
We
the
can see it on our end.
eyeglasses.
It's not showing to me. It just shows a white circle.
Oh yeah, no, we got the bunny on our end.
By the way,
Anyway,
a little bit of
Go ahead.
show and tell here. Yeah, a little bit of show and tell.
Terry's
My
cooking
day-
us some chicken.
Yeah. While the chicken is cooking here, I have a little bit more of a show and tell here. This is from earlier today, and this is what I have here in my hands. I will consider today to be a success. Why? It's
Okay.
because, well, I'll put this up to the camera here to show everyone what this is.
Why
is,
am I getting flashbacks of Dan Aykroyd doing Julia Child?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
one?
Yes. On Saturday Night
was
Live.
chicken.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you don't want to eat what I'm showing off here to the camera. This is barbed wire, and I was
no, thank you.
yeah. I was over at my family farm here today, and I was cleaning out and gathering some firewood, and I came across this. This was out in the field, and picked it up. So now it's not going to hurt any deer or antelope or any bunny rabbits or mud rabbits or Terry Hoppers.
Oh, thank God for the rabbits. I swear. They're the nicest people.
Yeah. But dating this, I would say this goes back to probably my grandpa put it in. So it was very interesting to find. Probably, I don't know. Can you think of any arts or crafts that I could maybe turn this old pile of junk here? I don't want to throw it away. You know,
Is there enough
like
to
I
make a
said,
wreath?
yeah, that's maybe, like a Christmas wreath. I could probably do that. Yeah.
Stick that sucker in some Tarnex and put some gloves on, and
Yeah. There we go. I'll do that. Yeah. Sweet deal.
Man, yes, that is the guess that Mudrabbit was.
I found some
answering
really cool
questions
stuff
about.
on my family farm and kept them. My cousins wanted the skull.
Of like
Found
a cow or what?
Yeah,
what
bull
kind
with
of-
the horns, the whole bit.
Okay. Yeah.
They used to have an old root cellar. I mean, our family goes back on that farm way back. And the root cellar, all the way around the root cellar, you can dig up these old bottles. And when the old farmhouse burned down, some of these bottles were inside that house, and that burned down in the 60s in the 60s.
Yeah.
And you can find these melted bottles. They're just really cool. I have a few of them.
Yeah, Sopranos fan. I think that's who. That's Universe Galaxy. He definitely talks about some uncomfortable subjects, and I assume that's one.
I
of the
do the
ones
same
that
thing,
Mudrabbit
so you
heard.
can't really judge the poor guy.
What was that?
I do the same thing, so you can't judge him.
Yeah, no, I don't judge him. That's why I actually like to talk to him. Is he likes to dig in the weeds a little bit, but I'd rather have him get his message out and explain himself fully before I pick him apart. You know, I don't pick him apart. He picks
And I
apart
need to
my
hear more
argument.
about
We
him
kind of go
before
back and forth with it.
Yeah, and I need to hear more about him.
Zachary Kinlaw saying you missed your question. I think you were switching platforms. Mudrabbit already answered. She just she popped in one time and didn't hear much about him, and then ended up going to bed.
It was late.
Yeah,
Don't mind me. I'm just stoking the fire here.
nothing wrong with that.
Stoke that fire, baby. Stoke it.
So
Chase, don't you find it odd that we always end up here together when there's a fire?
that always happens.
Well, last time you had that fire in the backyard, that was one of the funnier nights.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That was fun.
No, I enjoy getting to do them outside in different locations every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tiptoe into this subject, and I'm going to hope
Which
you
one?
guys can kind of guide me appropriately. We were talking
Okay.
about it a little offline, and I'm not sure how much we're allowed to talk about online, but I don't really mind. I'm going to put this to 18 plus, but this is public information. They picked it up on a couple newscasts today, but I believe it's Colorado University that is working on this, and apparently they created a new strain of COVID in a lab in
Boston.
11 states.
I think it was the
Has
University
anybody
of
heard anything
Boston.
about this?
Yeah, I think it was the University of Boston.
Oh, was it Boston?
They took the spike protein from the Omicron variant and attached it to the original Wuhan A variant
Okay.
to make a deadlier strain. It supposedly kills. These people are
Well,
evil. These people are out of their fucking minds.
And
Yeah.
it's not illegal because it's in
They want us all dead.
some international water kind of deal
Isn't this
where
game?
they can do whatever they want, right?
No, they did it. They did it at Boston Medical University. It was on U.S. soil. This is, I think, gain of function, isn't it? They're not supposed to be doing that in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Scare event is necessary. I don't know which one it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be all of them at once.
Yeah, covered by it was covered by NBC Boston today. It was Boston
Yeah.
University pushes back on claims of new deadly COVID strain.
Of course they would.
Well, somebody came out, the one that I saw, and was actually saying, no, we should probably destroy this now that we've created it. And I'm like,
Why would you create it in the first place? Unless there was somebody paying lots of money for it.
Yeah, I don't understand what the point would be. Like, we could work on.
Where do you think all this money that we're giving to Ukraine is going? Only 10% of those arms are making it to Ukraine. The other 90% are ending up on places like eBay. All that money that he went for that first, what was it, 80 billion or something like that for Ukraine, it didn't get to Ukraine. It went into our politicians' pockets.
Yeah.
Now Zelensky's blackmailing Biden, so he's still collecting money for Ukraine.
Your thoughts on Saudi Arabia of the quid pro quo?
Oh, they handled that beautifully. They needed to say no to him.
That brought everything out into the public on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now isn't he taking credit for basically what he inherited from Trump's presidency? With
he's trying to, and then he turns
production?
around and blames.
I know I saw that one.
You can't put lipstick on a pig and call it anything but a pig. This is what Biden's doing. They're failing miserably.
Got Dr. Pepper cherries now? Ooh, nice.
Got it. Yep. Cheers.
Zachary made a comment from another video I said about Michael Phillips being swept under the rug. I'm not sure what he means about that.
He's not saying it to you. It's to me. Just doesn't really. It just doesn't really fit. It's basically about if this person so this is my theory behind what Zachary Kim's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly there's a time traveler by the name of Michael Phillips, and apparently he went back and did something to alter the occurrence of a World War III. And I speculated, well, maybe that's what caused the new thing that made us lose lives on a global scale. I said, I wonder if that was like the yin and the yang. Like, if you go back and change a significant event in history, is there going to be an equal outcome, like a retaliation, like a slashback?
Most people would think so.
I would that, and that was kind of my theory about it. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, maybe that's what caused, you know, the new thing that has been going on. And it's just speculation about time travel. So don't anybody like take my words out of context. It was me
Okay, I'm gonna.
hypothetically thinking about something random. I'm not giving out moderatorships right now, but I appreciate you stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Anka Lipstick TV. Yeah, I'm not doing any singing tonight. Sorry, I apologize.
No singing. What?
You
Yeah.
sing?
Do I sing or does Ann sing? I personally don't sing online very much. Very rarely.
I don't sing at all unless I'm at home because I'm tone deaf. Well, I'm not tone deaf. I just can't hold a tune.
How
I
about
can
you,
hear them
Terry?
perfectly fine.
the
I
floor
just
and
can't
sing?
match them.
I'm not in the singing mood tonight.
Okay.
Don't
Sorry,
ask
Ann, I
me to
tried.
do it. I do not sing online. I sing in my yard on Saturdays with Zoso Dude.
Oh, do you?
Oh, I love Zoso, and I missed him Saturday.
I'll push him a little bit because you keep telling me about Zoso, and I still haven't gotten enough free time
Okay,
to actually get over there
Zoso
and check it
Dude
out.
77 for anybody out there listening on Saturday on dlive, on Twitch, and on Foxhole. He's got a show from 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Solid rock and roll. And it is the most fun you'll ever find online.
Nice.
We have a lot of fun in there.
Is he just cover like rock and roll? Is that mostly what he does? I know you're one of the main moderators over there.
No, I'm not a main moderator. Actually, a lot of the people I went there for the longest time and just listened and didn't say anything. Just I don't know why. I was just busy doing other things while I was listening. And then I started noticing a lot of these people were coming into errands, so I felt familiar and started chit-chatting with them. But a lot of these, what Zoso does on his YouTube channel is he makes everybody a moderator. So nobody gets away with anything in there. You have wrench alerts. If you show up without moderation status, we all start screaming wrench alert and he gets it to you. But he can't do his Saturday show on YouTube because of copyright issues. But to answer your question, I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with South Florida's old WSHE radio station. It used to have some of the best rock and roll in the country. And I equate it to that. You get on there, he's like a DJ. He runs contests on, I think, Friday nights. And those are on YouTube. And on Sunday, we, have a prayer circle. But Saturday, his shows are a lot of fun.
Nice.
And those are on
I've never heard of
dlive.
that radio station.
Huh?
I said I haven't heard of that radio station.
WSHE was one of the more popular stations in South Florida, and they played all the best rock and roll back in the 70s and the 80s and the 60s. And listening to him reminds me of that.
Nice.
I remember actually hearing about WSHE being like one of the radio stations that was mentioned specifically learning about in broadcasting school. It's like in Broadcasting 101 that there's like WLS out of Chicago, KMOX out of St. Louis. And then you learn the differences in between why you have radio and television stations east of the Mississippi named with a W in the front as opposed to west of the Mississippi with a K.
WSHE was in Miami.
Yeah.
And then we had Peaches Records and Tapes right here in Fort Lauderdale.
Nice. Lots of music history down there.
Yeah, there's a lot. But it was a really good radio station. And listening to Zoso on Saturdays reminds me of that. And I get out in the yard and I do stuff and I clean up around the house. And it's a lot of fun. The chat's a lot of fun, too. Just
So
a
if anybody
shameless
gets a
plug there
chance-
for my guy.
So if anybody gets a chance, you got to check out Zoso Guy's channel.
Zoso Dude
Got multiple
77.
platforms.
Brother Zo. And of course, there's Aaron. We can't forget Aaron. Everybody knows
Yes.
Aaron.
He brought us all together.
Yeah. And he
Common
attributes
link.
it to Red Pill because Red Pill's the one that put him in the mind to have a show.
One night I met. I mean, I realized afterwards that me and Aaron had like a few common links. It was like Andy, Greg Bornstein, and Open
Mhm.
Loops, and then Red Pill. Yeah, there was a few of them that brought me over to Aaron's. So
Yeah. And he knows people, he knows people in the industry, so it just makes him that much more interesting.
oh yeah, anybody that gets to interview Corey Good a couple times. I mean,
Yeah.
you better know the industry.
He's going to
And
have
they-
Johnny B on Friday night at
Yeah,
7
that's the
o'clock
one I was
Eastern
asking you about.
Standard.
That's the one I was asking you about with Johnny B.
Yeah, it'll be 8 o'clock your time. That's Central, and 7 o'clock Eastern Standard, and on YouTube, Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty.
Soprano said David Icke led me to Andy. How did David Icke lead you to Andy?
That's what I'd like to know. I've read the Beyond the Matrix. I believe that series. It's been so many years. I'm very familiar with David Icke, and his interview with Credo Mutwa is a must
Oh,
watch.
okay. Yeah, that's been around a while.
Yeah.
One of his more recent ones, it's kind of hard to find. He did David Icke did one with Dakota of Earth, and he's a naturalist. That's the best way I can think of it. He travels to India. He traveled there before the pandemic started, and he got stuck in India, and he just stayed out there for I think over a year, just kind of winging it. And he was doing live streams from there. Stayed with some shamans out there.
Yeah.
Tried ayahuasca for the first time when he was out there. Like
He's traveled the world.
Cool.
It had so many experiences already. And, one thing to really keep in mind here is he's performed on a pro level in sports as a former football player.
yeah.
And by football, I mean the English soccer.
Well, and he was a sports commentator first.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Icke has got quite the history.
Human race, get off your knees. Okay.
So, Terry, I don't see you working on this chicken.
Got to preheat
Well,
that.
he's cooking. Well, I could check on him right now. Let's go ahead and do that.
So, Mudrabbit.
Did you pre-cook them?
Mudrabbit, what I was going to also ask is, what do you think some of the other things that Biden's trying to take advantage of into his presidency? Because you can see it if you look at the years, and I was looking at their last debates and watching what he said he was going to get rid of Trump's, and now he's taking credit for. I've seen at least 3.
Yeah, he's probably a lot more than that. Let me see if I get all these thoughts down straight. This whole thing, I don't think Biden's there, first of all. I don't think whoever this person is all there in the head. From what I observe, they keep telling us that they've got, Obama in the basement. I think now and again, white hats slip something through between what Obama tells him and what they tell him, and it causes him to slip up because of his current mental. I mean, look at all the slip ups he's done. I mean, come on, the gaffes. I saw something on YouTube today where it's just one thing after the other. The guy's he's not home. His hamster's dead.
The gaffes alone aren't even what did it. You know what really did it for me was, I don't remember
It's
what it was.
at Bernie's. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. But the one that really got me was when they were doing something. It was at some White House conference, and it was open to the public, and they had Biden there, and they also had Obama there, and Biden's like following around Obama, trying to get him to shake his hand, and Obama's just passing him by, talking to other people, not really paying
everybody's
any attention
ignoring
to the
him.
current president.
Everybody's ignoring him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
the
World
most recent
leaders
one.
are ignoring him.
The
And speaking of football, who has it? That's what I want to know.
the nuclear football.
You
Is that what you're
ping,
talking about?
ping, ping. Yeah, who has it?
I mean, I feel like we're allowed to question that when
Oh,
going
Biden
into the
doesn't have
previous
that.
election.
Don't you remember Nancy trying to get it?
Yeah,
They don't have
yeah,
it.
yeah. No, she doesn't.
One, I feel like we're allowed to question those things for the simple
As
fact
soon
that
as
what did
Trump
everybody
left
say?
office,
What did everybody say when Trump went into office?
as soon
Though
as
they go, "Oh, he's got his hand on the button, and we have to worry about him." Why
Right,
can't we worry about the next presidency as well?
right, right. Whose finger is on that button
Yeah,
right
right.
now? That's what I want to know.
And I think it's a fair question.
the military has it. Trump
Gosh,
can't
I hope
have it,
so.
number one. Number two, Biden doesn't have it.
Even the
Military's got it.
military, even the military lately is going in a different direction as well. They seem to be
That's the military you see.
the
That's the
public
military
military.
you see. It's not. It's
Optics
what we
are
want are the Marines. It's the Marines that are important. Marines and Space Force.
So not the projected Marines in the background.
No,
You want the real ones.
not that. No, they're not going to let him have that. And Nancy, as soon as he left office, Nancy wanted to know where it was, wanted to get her claws into it. No, military has it. That's what devolution's all about. They're not going to let him have it.
Yeah. Well, that part's a given.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Biden would run for another term?
I don't think he knows right from left. I think if they stand him, if they can drug him enough and prop him up, I think they want to try for somebody else. But I don't think it's going to get as far as 2024. Honest to God, I don't. We're going to come into the territory of the 25th Amendment really soon. Trump's already said that so many times.
Yeah.
Sopranos fan said, "I just worry about the whole white hats thing becoming like Santa Claus thing a little bit."
I'm not.
I think I've had that thought before, Sopranos fan, but then I think Durham, because it's bringing everything onto record.
Yeah,
Official
and
record.
that's exactly what they need. I have
Right.
a friend who works in law. I spoke to her today, and even though she was panicky about everything that's happening because she doesn't know all the stuff that we've done,
Right. The guy who was just found
but
not
she does
guilty
understand
here
law.
a couple days ago, he's totally irrelevant. Small
Mhm.
fish in a very big
Yeah.
pond here of what's
Okay.
all going on, really.
The thing that a lot of people, the Anons aren't missing it, but what a lot of the normies are missing right now is Robbie Mook had to testify against Hillary Clinton. That's the story right there.
Ping. Definitely.
People who testify against people like her don't live very long.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. So he must be shitting his pants right now.
Yeah.
This is what Durham's going for. And this is why the DOJ stopped him or tried to stop him, told him you can't do anymore, because he's not going for the little fish. He just wants their information. He's going to take all that information and keep going up that ladder. Did you see Scavino's post
Oh, yeah.
with the ladders? Okay,
Yeah.
small steps.
Yeah. The baby
They're
steps.
building it.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Baby steps, or you know the graduated improvement.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't want these little fish. These little fish, once the big guys are caught, these little fish are going to be cut loose and they won't be a problem to clean up. Neither will the people who've come into the country. It won't be a problem. They're
It's
tagging
like taking
everything.
down the mob.
Mm-hmm. Trump has
how
already
patient
done
do
this.
you have to be, and
he and
how many
Giuliani
small
already
fish
cleaned up New
you have
York.
to let go before you get to the kingpin there.
Yeah, that's why the border policy just changed recently.
So the best part about this movie is when Nancy has tells. I love this. Nancy has so many tells. And when she's stressed, watch her hand. She gets that hand out there, and the fingers will be all together, and just a straight hand, almost like a karate chop. And then all of a sudden, the fingers go splayed, and she's got that hand out there, and she's shaking it at people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, she's scared.
Yeah.
She's worried.
I just keep picturing her doing that little reaching out and giving that little applaud and little tilt of the head.
Yeah, well, Karma's a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not making any implications, but she has a jitteriness that is very familiar to me. It reminds me a lot of drug users, I guess.
No, she's
usually involving opioids.
usually involving chrome.
I mean,
look at what I got right here. Oh, you know what this is? Oh, I got that real right here, Jacob Waters. You know what we're gonna do tonight? Oh yeah, you know what we're gonna do tonight? Oh, I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna open the. Oh, I got this right here. Gonna open it up. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You know what I'm gonna do with this? I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of a pinch here. I'm gonna pull that right over the chicken. This is just some leftover salt from some big chewy pretzels. It's really good.
I don't know if you guys knew that was some comedic humor from Terry.
Yeah, watch out. He's got a bag of kosher salt. He's dangerous right now.
Exactly. Hopefully we don't have to.
What did you think it was?
I mean, I don't carry around my salt like that. I'm not going to lie.
I told you, I'm from Miami.
It looked like some Colombian special salt. The way it was in a corner bag like that. My salt usually comes in a shaker. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, didn't they used to call it rock?
From the big chewy pretzels that I had yesterday.
Well, they oversalted your pretzel.
There we go.
So,
our heat-powered fans here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
like induction.
Love them on here. And here's the other one. So, yeah, it doesn't take up any electricity.
Nice.
There you go.
So
well, we're at that point now where my electric bill can go down because we can open the doors now.
Have you guys? Do you guys have a take on Donald Trump being subpoenaed for to appear in court?
Arrest him! Arrest him already! Come on, do it!
They're not going to
just
pull
arrest him already.
It's a show, Jacob. They don't want him there because when he comes in,
did
you hear what he told them?
I'm waiting on arrest him. Come on.
I know it's a show, but I feel like
said
a lot
he'd
of
only
people watching
do
the
it.
show. I feel like a lot of people watching the show
if they could do it live.
Though.
Did you see
he
that?
Said he'd only do it.
Trimmed his trees in front of our Lago so we could all peek in when it happens.
But no, I feel like what the media is doing needs to be brought up and discussed in public. I realize it's a show, but it does need to be brought up in public because a lot of people don't know what's going on. I think it's good to address
at the very end of this, when all hell breaks loose, they have a plan for that too, and they've told us what it is. When all hell breaks loose, they said short and swift. They're not going to allow these riots to happen. They're not going to allow anything to happen. The National Guard is posted anywhere, and Q told us that if we wanted to know if that's a fact, ask your nearest National Guard person that you know if they're deployed or they're going to be deployed. Now, this whole thing, there's going to be the EBS, the broadcast, the TV, when communications goes down, when the TV goes down, when the internet goes down, because the deep state is going to cut it all down to keep us from finding out. There's going to be an emergency broadcast system, and it's going to broadcast. I believe they said, I could be wrong, but I believe they said it's going to be an 8-hour broadcast played on a loop 3 times for 24 straight hours. And there won't be anything else available but that. So when the truth comes out for those last holdouts that don't know what's going on, they will know what's going on. That's the whole purpose of where we go one, we go all.
Sounds like the purge to me.
Yep. We're going to tell them. They're going to tell them. They're going to put it on a loop out there for 24 straight hours. You're not going to watch anything else but that. And they're going to show everything. The trials will have been over. The sentences will have been laid out. And these people are going to go pay their dues. And we're going to get the broadcast.
Be broadcasted in every world language as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Using the guide stones against them. That's the flip of the black mirror into the white mirror. Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah.
So it's already a foregone conclusion. Nothing can stop what's happening. Terry, you're muted.
I think that's what goes to Sopranos fan is he said so when are the white hats and their interventions going to become more tangible rather than continuously being
when it's ready. It's already tangible if you just know where to look.
Yeah.
It has to be done according to the law, and justice is slow in coming, and this is going to take years, but we're going to get some instant satisfaction. There was a Q post where they popped up, Terry, if you remember, maybe you remember this, where they said Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And then they had the whole thing with the elevator with all the clues in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think whatever big thing is coming to open up
Christmas.
Something is probably around the holidays after the election.
Yeah, well, does Merry Christmas have anything to do with Dark Winter?
I think they said Dark Winter because they knew Biden was going to say that. I think that was a marker.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Delta.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
I think they have some sort of element of time travel at their disposal, or a chronovisor or something. I don't know, because there's too many deltas that just keep happening and too many markers that keep popping up.
Is it really a temporal war like in Star Trek where they've got time travel, we've got time travel, there's a time travel police agency chasing after the both of them or all of them?
Gene Roddenberry was a Freemason.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And they have to tell us. So anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mandela effect has been happening.
They already have.
Huh?
Anything that we can imagine, they already have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me. When I moved to the Virgin Islands, the first thing somebody told me down there was, you'll get rock fever in the first 6 months. I'm like, nah, not me, not in a beautiful place like this. Oh boy, were they right? You get rock fever. They're 25 years behind the times down there. And when you go to live somewhere where things are behind the times, it takes a huge adjustment. I think we're going to experience that in reverse. I think there's going to be a lot of shock involved for people who aren't ready for it.
Yeah, there already is. That's going on.
And I think they're trying to roll it out as slow as they possibly can, because personally, I know a few people that probably couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I have one
only
friend.
Thing though is, are people actually going to take the time to even pay attention? the cynic in me says that they're too busy with raising their kids or going to 5 different jobs,
Yeah, yeah.
working, paycheck to paycheck. What do
Okay,
you
some
do?
of the information that I had back way back when, I'm going back like 22 years, from that website I told you about,
Yeah,
they said that 6% of the populace is psychopathic. So there you figure 6% is lost, right?
right.
Didn't Q say something about 4 to 6% or 6 to 8%
Mm.
will be lost?
Hmm.
So I think the turnout is going to be better than we expected. I think there's going to be a lot of shock involved, but I do think that we as a species have evolved far enough technologically to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some people that maybe need a slow rollout, but they can be introduced to it slowly. I mean, everybody's going to love free energy right there, so you won't get any shock in that respect.
Right. Well, I just
But
showed
when
off
the
a
other
little bit
needs,
of free energy here. It's taking what I have, living off the land, and making the most of it.
Well, and it's
mm-hmm.
not even free energy. You're utilizing all of the energy produced by that fire.
Yeah.
There's more
We
to
have
it.
electricity all around us in the atmosphere, and we have ways of tapping into as much as we need safely.
Yeah.
It's just hidden knowledge.
Well, and people have to understand, like, batteries are made from coal. Like,
Have you
without
ever
coal, you
done
wouldn't be making batteries.
some
Electric isn't
orgone
free.
busting?
Say what?
Have you ever done some orgone busting?
I
Cloud
have
busting.
not. I assume it's pretty hard.
No, it's not hard at all. You need a
Yeah.
long metal pipe. The longer the
Okay.
better. I'm saying like maybe 6 feet, 7 feet, and stick one end in running water and put the other end put it at a 45-degree angle or slightly more, and hold it there and watch what happens. You'll cause it to rain. You'll cause an orgone buildup around it, and you'll get rain. How do you think these rainmakers made rain when they go out into these places for these people?
I mean, I never understood how they did it, to
Orgone.
be honest.
Orgone is what you can smell after a lightning strike, that real crisp smell.
Is orgone and organ like the same thing, or is it just
Yeah, I
pronounced
think
different?
so. We're
Okay.
part of each other. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But this was
Okay.
an experiment our group did. What was his name? God, he didn't turn out to be good for the group, but he was a smart guy. He used to own the Montauk website, Montalk. And he showed up at Laura's house when she lived in here in Florida, and they took this huge metal pipe and put the hose down and created a little dip there and stuck it in the other end and made it rain in her backyard.
That's amazing.
Okay, I'm reading Chase's question. What do you
Hold
think
on,
of the
let
5
me,
outcoverings of sheep's
did you guys already catch
consciousness, the
up?
5 kachukas?
I was gonna say, did you guys already catch it up? I was waiting. Did I miss Zachary Kim's question? He was asking what are
Zachary Kim is wondering, what are Terry's political views? If you're asking in the aspect of, am I Democrat, Republican, Libertarian? Golly dang. I'll tell you, I used to be Democrat. But growing up, I reached the age of reason. And right now, I am totally legit undecided as to who or what I'm going to vote for in the midterm elections, as far as my state governor, all the way down to the local sheriff. I'm totally undecided. That's my political party right now. I'm undecided because it's either there's
They
too
did you bad.
there's too much of contrasting aspect ratios in between the two main candidates that I just cannot get past. Cases in point here. J.B. Pritzker is the current governor of the state of Illinois. He's a Democrat. He legalized weed. I happen to really appreciate that aspect. Then you have is
Darren
he
Bailey.
and the and his other views. And do I really stand with everything else going on there? Not entirely, no. Then there's his opponent,
Darren Bailey.
Yeah, Darren Bailey. He comes from downstate Illinois, not very far away from my hometown. Am I very interested in the aspect of a local gentleman that has local ties here, of people that I know personally, that know him personally? That's very intriguing to me. Do I subscribe to all of his political views? No, I don't. He's a Republican, so I'm undecided, and I am open to watching all of the debates, really listening into how they feel on important issues, and I'm going from there. And I'm going to vote probably across both aisles on several different offices. And you know what? Honestly, that's how it should be.
Yes.
I'm sitting here legit doing my homework, doing my due diligence, looking into it.
I want to know how many people vote without researching their candidates.
Right. And just go on either because they have either a D behind it or a R behind it or whatever.
By your fruits you shall know them.
Right.
I want to get on this one a little bit since we're talking about Illinois. Yeah, I think it's horrible if you just look at smear ads and that's how you decide you're voting for, because you're going to hear it on both sides.
Okay.
What was that?
Oh,
I thought he was muted. It looked like he was talking and waving his hand.
Oh, maybe there might be a little delay on the video.
I think my laptop is on delay.
But what I was going to say is, like, until I actually dug into Darren Bailey a little bit, you would have thought by the public perception that he's an extreme right-wing guy. And the more I actually look into him, I think he's more of a centrist. Even some of the ads that they're running about him aren't really to his policies. And I was like, oh, okay, Darren Bailey isn't as extreme as I thought it was. The reason I actually have the most problem with it is J.B. Pritzker considers him to be an easy opponent. That's why he supported Darren Bailey's campaign when he was running, to get him up to face him.
That part was obvious.
That's an old
that
trick.
part was so obvious, Jacob, that the Democratic Party wants Darren Bailey to run against Pritzker.
That's exactly what they did with Trump in 2016, and he ended up beating the shit out of Hillary.
Right.
Yeah.
So this was on the Beef Stannon show here, I believe, yesterday, where Steve Cortez was on assignment from reporting from Chicago, where he was saying that Illinois is very much in play. Well, yes, it very much is. Not too long ago, Illinois had a Republican governor, Bruce Rayner, and he was from downstate Illinois. So you can't just say that Illinois is totally Chicago here. It isn't. There's a whole bunch of other people here in the entire rest of the state of Illinois, and sure enough, there's conservative Republicans up in Chicago and up in the Rockford and Joliet areas. So Illinois is going to be very interesting during this election. And again, I don't know.
Wave.
So Darren Bailey actually came to my town about a month ago.
Yeah.
And then also his, I believe it's his state's attorney.
Yeah.
That is running with him was on the radio show that I go on every once in a while and talk politics.
Darren Bailey's campaign headquarters, by the way, is only 10 miles that way.
Okay.
I really, it's so
10
interesting.
miles to your right. Grab another bag, Terry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, town is the big town is that way. So, but it's just so danged interesting to me because every time that I go into town, into the big town, there's his bus just parked out there in front of his headquarters. It's so interesting. But yeah, go ahead, Jacob Waters.
But what I was going to say is, like, I kind of agree with Terry on this almost wholeheartedly. At least, even if you're just thinking about your local election, which is way more important than the federal,
Yep.
I really hope people can get that out of elections. We need to get more people voting about what's going on in their immediate area, rather than, on a federal level that might not actually affect you that much.
Well, believe
You'd be
it or not,
surprised.
your most important person is your sheriff.
Yeah. And your local judges, I mean,
They come next, right?
think
Up
about
front, your
who's
sheriff.
getting prosecuted. Yeah, the
It's
sheriff
one
can
of
bring
those
them in.
things too. I'll say this about the local sheriffs. I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want to give too much away here. But I would vote for the both of them if I could.
I hope we get somebody like Grady Judd. I'm in Broward County, and we've had a long line of crappy sheriffs.
Yeah, I hear you on that too. But
Yeah.
things are pretty good here.
I watch Grady Judd. He's up in, I think, Pinellas or Polk. Holy moly, they're cleaning that county up.
So I got to interrupt you guys because we got a like that came in that I'm kind of happy about. Aaron Moriarty just gave a like to us on Facebook. I appreciate that you're tuning in, Aaron. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
Robert
Join us on Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, 8 Central, here on YouTube.
Oh, he even dropped us a comment. He said, "Hey, fam, nice to see you in there, Aaron. Nice to have
Aaron's
you
such
around."
a sweetie. I just think he's great.
But I'm going to catch up the chat a little bit since we've been.
Chase has a question.
Yeah, I'll get to that one next. People can't handle the truth, which may result in not handling the effects. Yeah, I got you on that. I know. Wilhelm Reich. I'm not sure what that one was for.
Oh, yeah, Wilhelm Reich. He invented the Reich machine.
And then Mudrabbit's question from Chase.
He says,
Mudrabbit, what do you think of the 5 outer coverings or sheaths of consciousness? The 5 chakras?
I'm not sure I know what those are, but I know quite a bit about chakras.
That was my first thought with chakras. Is he talking about the chakras?
Yeah, but there's 7 of those. And they don't go straight
more,
up and down
that's
like
going a
people.
bit deeper, but yeah.
Yeah, they don't go straight up and down like people think they do. It's the shepherd's crook. Your indigo is right between your eyes. And then you go up to the top of your head for the dream chakra, and then you go down through the body. It's the shepherd's crook.
And then the fire is gorgeous. And let's see what else Sopranos fan got in here. I guess
She
the
says,
Russians
no,
really
not
don't like weed
chakras.
for some reason.
What are they, Chase?
Not the glow on that.
Yeah, no, we all love you here as well, Aaron. We were just talking about how you're kind of the one that brought us all together.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here without Aaron.
We love Aaron.
Speaking of, I'm gonna pull up. I'm also gonna pull up his channel. I mean, I know
Aaron,
most of the people.
Aaron rocks.
Hey, Aaron.
So, what are Kanchukas?
She said, "No, not chakras." Yeah. So, explain to us what you meant, Chase.
I'm not sure I know what those are. I used to do readings long time ago. I haven't done it in a long time because I don't have people to do it for, and the people I used to do it for have all lived now in different places. But I used to do readings, and explain to people what the energy was doing within their bodies. I can't do that online. I have to do it in person. But I got heavily into all that like 30 years ago and just studied the daylights out of it. But
Do
I
you
don't
feel
think
like
I've ever heard of Kanchuka.
do you feel like your intuition is, a little bit better when you're in person, or are you just, what are you getting that you can't get from, over the internet?
Well, I use crystals to help me, and the crystals help me interpret the energy. It's not me doing it. What happens is each crystal, I have 8 crystals, and they're small. They're not big. They're just little. You can hold all of them in one hand. And they resonate with each chakra throughout the body. And you hold the main crystal, the reader. And we just talk. We just have a good time, have a glass of wine, whatever. I usually do it when I'm with my girlfriends. And when you've held it long enough that the crystal gets warm, I'll take it from you. I'll put it with the other crystals and just lay them out on a sheet. And depending on where they fall in relationship to the reader, it tells me what's going on in that part of your body.
Okay.
For instance, race car driver in Jacksonville. I was on my way to North Carolina one year, and I used to overnight in Jacksonville at my girlfriend Lori's house. And her husband used to do race car driving up there at the Jacksonville Raceway. And one guy came over, and Lori was telling him how I do this. And I was like, Lori, don't tell anybody that. So she was telling him all about it, and he started making fun of me. So I handed him the reader, and I said, just hang on to that for a little while. I'll ask for it back in a bit. And he played with it. He held it in his hand. He handed it back to me, and I put them down on the sheet, and I looked at him and I said, you take your foot out of the door. I don't know why I said it. I just saw his foot being injured really badly, his left foot. And he looked at me, and the guy's face went white. I said, there's something wrong with your foot. I said, and there's a door. I said, whatever it is, just pay attention to your left foot. He didn't have, what is that? The lining inside the doors of the car when they race, they strip them out. So the inside of the door has like this big old hole. And he puts his foot in there when he drives. And he had an accident the next day where they hit that door. And if he hadn't listened to me, he would have shattered his foot.
And you just sensed that?
Yeah. Well, also it was the way the crystals were laying. It was showing me that his left foot had a problem. That's the energy in his body. That's not me doing anything. That's just me having learned how to interpret it. And crystals are very good at picking this up. And when you start doing these things, you kind of do them because you're curious. But I had a large circle of friends that just kept asking me to do it and asking me to do it because it was doing something for them. And they would report back to me, and I was making all these hits, and I was like, wow, there's something to it. And my mother encouraged me to continue to do it. My mother was a channeler, so she wasn't foreign to these sort of things, and she kept encouraging me to work with it and see where it takes me. So I did it for a lot of years, but when she got cancer, my focus kind of turned toward the shop. I had to go to North Carolina, and all these things kind of fell to the wayside, and I haven't really done it for anybody. Not since then, not in the last 6 years.
So, in case anybody watching is wondering who we were talking about when we were saying Aaron Moriarty, this is where you can go to find his show. I have it pulled up here on his YouTube channel. This is where the three of us met. So definitely come and check him out. He's always on the quest for truth.
It's an awesome show. A lot of fun, great people.
Absolutely. Highly recommend that channel.
And then Chase ended up answering. She said, the 5 veils that hide our true consciousness.
Anyway, I don't want to leave Chase hanging. I'm not sure what that is. I do know that when you do have your chakras cleared, which I don't think is ever 100% possible in this world. There's always something. I think that's when you have a clearer line to that chakra between your eyes where you get these intuitions and you get to work on a higher consciousness. I think we as humans can only go so far. I don't think I don't believe in woo. I only believe in things I've seen with my own eyes.
I do have a question for Chase here. Is this part of some religious or spiritual modality like Buddhism or Hinduism or
Yeah, that would be helpful.
prana or some other type of healing or anything like that? That you could just give us a point in the right direction in learning more.
Yeah, I think it's Hinduism.
Okay.
It looks like it to me. I don't know for sure. I think there's a lot to it. I don't know what exactly that is, but I think all these so-called religions that we believe in all have some sort of common roots.
Oh, absolutely, they do. Yeah.
And I think that you can find these things in the Bible if you know where to look, because I think all the holy books, the Quran, the Bible, the papers, everything, the scrolls address things like this. I think it's just veiled to us. We've been so dumbed down since Adam and Eve that we don't even recognize it in ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
And we've had so much fluoride and poison put in our food. So I think this whole higher consciousness thing that people strive for, trust me, I've been through that one. I'm 66 years old. I've been there. It's a crock.
Yeah.
Come on. I think through everything I've been through, the most important thing I've learned that if you want to grow your soul, learn to have a little compassion and empathy for those around you and stop thinking about yourself. Get over yourself and look at the people around you. Be thankful for what you have. People gripe all the time about what they don't have. I do it myself. We're all guilty of it. But I have to pull myself up and think, holy shit, look at these kids, how they're suffering. Look at how these people who all got jabbed are gonna suffer. Look at people in other worlds that don't have nearly as much as we do. I watch these shows of people in Africa and their homes, and I think I couldn't live like that. We go camping on a weekend. We think it's fun. Some people have to live like that their entire lives.
Yeah.
So stop and be a little thankful. If you want a higher consciousness, start looking at the people around you and thinking of them before we think of ourselves.
Well, I think it's not just thankfulness. I think it's also jealousy. Like I think it's awesome.
Oh, the 7
to be
deadly
happy.
sins. Yeah.
I think it's awesome to be happy for other people when good things happen to them. You don't have to be jealous of them or spiteful of them because they are, they're coming into something good. You can just be
Yeah, well,
happy
it's
for them as
karma.
well.
They get what they deserve. I mean, come on, be happy for them.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have a big car and a boat and a jet ski, who cares? I got a roof over my head.
Yeah.
I don't have as much as everybody else, but damn, I got a hell of a lot more than a lot of people in the world.
I'm sitting next to a real wood burning fireplace that I worked very, very hard to earn. First of all, earn the money to even buy it.
Yeah.
And then I worked very, very hard to install it myself. And really, there's something else that I did the due diligence on, just to make sure that I'm doing it right, because I wanted to get that joy out of doing it myself, first of all, and just the learning experience of doing this. And it's even warmer knowing that I did this and was able to put all of the work in. But at the same time, the work that I put in wouldn't be possible without other people that I was able to work with. And that's the warmest part right there. Is that gratitude that you were talking about?
Well, I mean, it's almost like self-accomplishment too. Like there's something about enjoying something a lot more when you've earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard work and effort you put in to get that. So it's much better that as soon as you got it, you weren't like, oh, I want the next bigger, better thing. You're like, no, I'm going to enjoy this. I worked hard for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had this for I don't even know how many years now. I have to look up the receipt. I still have it, but yeah, it's going on many years now. And yeah, happy to share here. So
Yeah.
It looks
y'all need
comfy.
to come over.
We're there right now.
We're trying our best. This is the middle ground.
It
So
looks comfy.
speaking of time traveler convention, I sent you a message here not too long ago, Jacob,
Yes.
on the Back to the Future anniversary, where they go into the future, which is now, ironically speaking, in the past, back in, for us anyway, here in 2022, where Doc and Marty went into 2015. Well, that date is October 25th, which is coming up. But coming up in the year 2025, it will, of course, be the 10-year anniversary of Doc and Marty going into the future, which is, again, ironically, in the past. Did that make any sense at all, what I just said?
I knew what
Sounds
you
fun.
meant when you said it the other day in a text. I was like, oh, okay, I know what he means.
I've got all these lines in my head going to all these little pieces of paper on a cork board.
Okay,
So they're all connected.
Yeah.
the movie Back to the Future, right? Made back in 1985.
Right.
Then the movie where the original movie, they went back to the 1950s, like 1955.
Yeah.
And in Back to the Future Part 2, they went into the future, which was 2015, but that movie was made back in what, 1980?
Yeah. Something like that.
88, 89? What was it, like 5 years, I think?
I don't know, but shout out to them predicting the Cubs winning the breaking the curse.
They were off by only 1 year.
Yeah.
Explain that.
They have to tell us. They have to tell us.
And I
what
get
they're
that,
doing.
Professional baseball, it's rigged and it's fixed, but you look at that whole series, that looked legit to me.
Regardless if you think it's rigged or it's fixed, there was a curse, a fictitious curse going on with Chicago Cubs for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they picked within a year of how close it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is coming from me that by default, in where I live in Illinois, I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan. So, that should tell you I'm down here in Southern Illinois. But, I was still one of those guys that I was cheering for the Cubs. I wanted them to win. Do it already. Come on.
I'm a Sox fan.
There you go.
Aaron said wrestling is real. Check out the pizza guy.
What was it? Sopranos fan asked earlier.
I don't.
Was that
I'm
a
not gonna lie, I
question?
really shouldn't share that comment.
Oh, okay.
I pulled it up once. He said, "I'm still cautioning the tripled not to become the quadrupled." And there's some, but they're still pretty much at the same level of consciousness.
I can't help but think that this whole thing would not have been allowed to continue if there wasn't some sort of, and I don't want to say solution, but maybe a Band-Aid for it later.
No, and it's going to be an excuse for it later. It's not going to be a Band-Aid.
Oh, for sure.
Look at
for
this
sure.
is
But I think
what we opened up talking about is talking about what they're doing in labs right now in the United States.
Yeah, I think they have a plan for it, but moves and counter moves. For every move we make, they're going to try a false flag. So,
yeah.
Here's my question. Gosh, here comes a can of worms. How do you deal?
I like cans of worms.
Okay. I have to say the word here because I don't know any other word for it, but so help me. How do you deal with overpopulation? Because
there's no such thing.
Take a look around you.
Yeah, no, I would say the majority of the population lives on the coastline of the United States, and there's plenty of land that they don't utilize.
there's a
majority of us live over here on the east side of
there's
it.
a growth of population going on here. How do you take care of all of them when they don't have jobs or any way of getting their own land? Where do you put them? And are you going to be coming after my land to take care of them?
I think
Well,
Sopranos fan answers it. Awesome.
If we're aiming towards sovereignty, that kind of answers the question.
Sopranos fan's answer was almost spot on. Is it overpopulation or misallocation? And I would say it's misallocation.
Misallocation, yeah.
Okay, well, let's get down to even more of the root question then. Where do you put someone and how do you put them there?
No. I don't think we need to. I don't even think we need to
Simplistic
change where people are at. Honestly, I think people can spread over time, but we don't even have our regular transportation systems down where it comes to delivering food to all the people in the areas that we already know that they're at. Like, think about our transportation system. There's a reason that we have like these, what do they call them? Like landlocked, it's not landlocked, I can't remember what it's called, like a food desert, they call it. Like a fresh food desert where you can only kind of get canned food in
Yeah.
the area. Like they talk about Chicago being similar to that, and
Yeah.
other ghettos being compared to that, trailer parks being compared to that. We have some of the best shipping in the world. We just don't address it right. We don't ever ship food to the right people or the right places. Therefore, people are starving around the United States. That makes no sense. We make
They're
way
forcing
too much food.
people, whatever people they can, they're forcing them to eat processed foods, and poisons are in that.
Yeah.
They don't want us eating fresh foods. Now they want us to register our gardens.
Is that serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that
They
one.
want us to register our gardens, and they're wrapping it all up with a big red bow to make it sound like it's a pleasant, altruistic thing to do. Bullshit.
Right. It's none of their business.
Right.
And and this is coming from me in my experience of living here on the farm. We have conversations with the local USDA office, and we tell them essentially what how many acreage of land we're going to be putting into crops and how many of acreage non-crops, and essentially what it comes down to is I asked them is so can we plant some trees over here, and while we have this part of land that over here that's actually being farmed, or what? And he said point blank again, it's your land. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, and once the trees are in, they'll tell you can't chop them down. We're looking at that right now. We've got a sea grape across the street that's getting out of control, and it's a danger in the storm. But hey, it's protected now.
Yeah. It's on the endangered.
Can't even trim it.
It's on the endangered tree list.
Yep.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my biggest thing is because I have a love-hate for farmers in balance, because not only is Monsanto kind of had a stranglehold on the whole environment.
Yeah.
Ooh, that chicken's looking great.
Yeah.
Oh, yum, yum.
But not only do they have a stranglehold on the whole environment with you have to get your seeds from them, you can't use your own seeds, you have to do this. Farmers have to pick and choose if they want government subsidies or if
Well,
they
see,
want
that's
to
the
do it on
nice
their
thing
own.
about gardens, home gardens. A lot of us have heritage seeds.
Yeah.
Some seeds are like 50 years old.
Well, I've always thought that.
I have
think
resurrected
we are pushing a new seed.
for 20 years.
Oh, you have?
Huh?
They said you have?
Yeah, I have heritage seeds. Sugar baby watermelons. When you buy them now in the grocery store, they have no seeds and they have no flavor. And they're not red, they're pink.
Yep.
I had a bunch of sugar baby watermelon seeds that I had saved from the late 80s. And I planted them this past summer, and I got 5 really nice old-fashioned sugar babies that were nice and juicy and sweet, had a lot of seeds in them, were bright red on the inside.
Amazing.
You don't see them like that anymore.
No.
I mean, all of our fruits and vegetables are like that. They're made to order now. I mean,
Yeah, so
banana
I'm
used to
using
look
my
like a
heritage
plantain.
seeds.
You've learned a lot.
Wow.
But yeah, I
Take the
think most
seeds
of our
from
food
there
is
and
different.
re-germinate them and transplant them, and yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting, the seed vault that we have to actually see how far back we actually are saving seeds from.
The one in
The actual
Norway.
people. Yeah, in
There's
Norway.
another one too. I don't know where it's at though.
I just know that's the main one up north.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've got that massive one in Norway.
Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
I mean, it's a great location for it if you're trying to keep a cool environment to store seeds. I mean, why not?
Yeah, but those aren't for us, sweetie. No,
No,
no, no, no, no.
I think they're for
That
repopulation.
if Hillary
Right.
had gotten in, we'd all be gone, and those seeds would be brought. That vault would be opened for the elite, not for us.
Well, no, but I don't even think it's going to be for the elite. I think it's going to be for repopulation.
I don't think we're going to get that far.
No, I don't think they will either. But they can still have an end goal. It's just not going to be met.
Will we see nukes before or after the election?
Oof.
There's another can of
I
worms
think
for
we'll
you
just hear
here.
threats.
And on top of that, is the nuke real, or is it
That's
just
it.
a rumor
Yeah.
of a nuke?
Yeah, if
That's
it's
what
a
I was
real
gonna
nuke,
ask.
no. If it's a rumor, yes.
That's what I was going to
We've
ask. Are they
already
going to
got
drive
the
down the
rumors.
street with it, or are they going to shoot it? That's the real question, because I've seen plenty of people drive down the street with them to show them off
Mhm.
and prove to you that they have nuclear power or brag about it. But how many of them are actually firing them off? I mean, we're all ankle deep in gasoline, threatening to flick matches at each other. What's going to be
Yeah.
the outcome?
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was in North Carolina, I used to go to this auction, and there was a guy there. We used to talk, and he was always so worried
That's a good
about
question.
this end of the world.
That's a very good question. Will
So
nuclear
will
war
the
be
nuclear
allowed?
war be allowed by the ETs?
There's this thing out there that supposedly when nuclear missiles start going off, the ETs say, no, you can't shoot that off, and somehow it goes offline. There's
Yeah,
those
they've turned them
stories
off
out there.
before. Yeah.
I mean, they've done it for years at
Well,
missile
this
bases.
guy I knew in North Carolina was so worried about everything, and every time a news would come out about one little thing, he'd be panicking. I was like, how do these people survive? I mean, are they nervous wrecks all the time?
I mean, yeah, there's a certain member
Yeah, the brainwashing
of
is effective
society
in
that do
some.
that though. Don't you think there's a pretty large group of society that worries all the time?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that suffer from anxiety, but I think a lot of that is largely because of the system we live in.
Oh yeah, it's induced by media.
Yeah, and I think it'd be alleviated a great deal if we had a better system to live in, but we don't at the current moment. But they just seem to go for these people and just 440 hertz. They're broadcasting everything at 440 hertz just to agitate people. This is why I don't have TV or radio in my house. It agitates you.
Yeah, this is why I'm sitting in front of a stove.
Yeah.
This is my evening entertainment right here.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
I read. I do a lot of reading and a lot of digging.
Yeah, there's a lot of people Sopranos fan in fear stream media. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, I like that fear stream media. Yeah.
On both sides, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
that's not even a sided issue.
Oh, let me tell you, I was on Truth Social tonight, and Brendan Dilley made a comment, and I made my comment and I replied to it, and I got jumped on. Holy shit! They made all kinds of speculation about me. I just had to laugh. So I've responded a few times, but I'm just going to leave it at that. It's such bullshit. People are angry at the wrong people. Fine. You want to be angry? Go be angry at Pelosi. Be angry at Schumer. Be angry at your local sheriff if he's not doing his job. But don't be angry at your neighbors, your friends, and your family.
Yeah, no.
You know,
You should
there's
be,
kids around here that got these damn things. And what are we going to be setting as an example for them? Vindictiveness, sarcasm, I told you so. No, I don't want my grandkids learning that. I want my grandkids to learn to have a heart when somebody's suffering.
Yeah, no, if you're angry at these people, the best thing to do is meet and greet your neighbors, see if they feel the same way as you, have discussions about these things, and get these people out of office.
Yeah, exactly.
And start
Be
local
angry
and
at
work
the
your way up.
right people, directed in the right direction. Don't go willy-nilly saying, oh, this is the thing, or the pure blood. That's where it started, pure blood. It's a very divisive, in my opinion, a very divisive word. There's going to be people out there that wish they were. And I'm sorry, but I feel bad for them.
I mean, some people, have their feet in the sand about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get their
More
minds
like their
changed
heads.
anytime soon. They need something drastic to happen, sadly.
Yeah. I should have just not said anything to begin with, but it just irked me, It's like, come on, guys. I mean, I'm supposed to be angry and vindictive at everybody that got the vaccine because they were ill-educated enough not to know better.
I mean, it's not even that they were ill-educated. It's like these people that we're supposed to trust with the media, the way that they're out there and they're calling themselves journalists and stuff like that. We should be able to look for some journalist integrity, some
Oh
actual
no, their heads
journalism.
should go on a pike. Their heads should go on a pike. I'm sorry, these people that push this thing and blackmail people into getting it, these people deserve every bit of anger they get.
Or
But
if you got
these people are causing a division within the movement, calling anybody that got the jab out. It's like, come on, most of these people are already sorry they did it. Don't rub it in.
More than anything, if there was a mistake made and you're calling yourself a journalist, have a redaction.
Yeah.
Don't just say, okay, we're going to move past that and tell you the next thing we want you to hear.
Okay, here's an example. Anderson Cooper, I think his salary was some ridiculously low price, like $25,000 or $50,000 from the newscasters, but he got paid 3 times and 4 times more from the CIA. Or no, not the CIA, from Pfizer. So he wasn't actually working for the news, the mainstream media. He was actually working for Pfizer. They paid him much, much more than he got as a paycheck from the mainstream media. This is how they do that. So say you make $25,000 to be a talking head on CNN, but then Pfizer's giving you $100,000 to say what they want you to say. And that's how it works.
I mean, when the experts aren't experts, there's not really.
Right.
I mean, look who's leading these things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obvious, and who's got the financial gain in it. But I mean, I like what Sopranos fans said. Even Jesse Ventura fell for it. Somebody you'd think wasn't ready to fall for a lot of things.
You know what? The information was out there. And this is nothing new. There are people like me who've been around since the 60s screaming about this shit to people. Now we have the internet, and I want a t-shirt that says on the front of it that in the day of the internet, ignorance is a choice. The information was out there. People were giving it to them. People that were clued in were giving it to them. And they did not want to look. I'm facing that within my own family. I've got the proof. I've got the videos. I've got the paperwork. And when I offer it, I get attacked. They don't want to hear it.
That's incredibly deep. Really.
Well, they won't actually let people come together, because if they keep silencing people, it turns into anecdotal. If people can't come together and talk about something, it stays anecdotal.
Exactly.
Well, this is also the generation that came up with the saying, Let me Google that for you. Not
Yes.
only is that a saying, that's an actual website.
No, that's Gen X.
Yeah.
Gen X comes up with that one.
Well, yeah, let me Google that for you. Well, okay, what do you have when you don't have Google anymore?
Right.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
never used
I
Google.
grew up in a
Where do you
weird
go
generation.
now?
I grew up in a weird
I don't even-
generation where we were told not to believe everything on the internet.
Well, my great grandmother used to tell me, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see.
Oh,
This is what we got to tell our kids. She told me that from the time I can remember, probably 5 or 6 years old. That's all I've heard from my great grandmother and my grandmother and my mother. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see.
and they came from the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because these people, my great grandmother went through it at the turn of the last century.
Sopranos fan, I got to check this out. But that's a great it's a great point. If that really happened, he said, you guys see the old clip of Ventura and Dr. Rima Labau?
Yes.
Back in 2009,
Lebo.
she told Jesse that the government would create a pandemic and
Mhm.
compulsory jab.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw that
Yes.
episode.
I
And
missed that
before
one.
all this, long before all of this dropped with the Julian Assange, because everybody thinks this started with Q. No, it didn't start with Q. Before Q, there was Julian Assange. Before Julian Assange, there was Karen Hudes. Before Karen Hudes, there was Remo Lebo and
Yeah.
Dr. Mercola. These people have been blowing whistles all along. And I can go back along the chain all the way to the 70s of people that have done the same thing, but nobody listens. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody's curious enough.
Or if they do listen to it, they don't know what to do with it. I mean, there is that term of, you're only just one person. What are you going to do?
Knowledge is power. When somebody tells me that, that's what I tell them. Knowledge is power. You have no idea what having knowledge, proper knowledge of something, what door it'll open for you in the future.
Well, I feel like the people that have power.
I'm not talking about that kind of power.
No. The reason I say that is because if you look at the people that have power when it comes to knowledge, comparing knowledge to power, these are the people that are trying to be silenced. If you look at people like Joe Rogan, if you look at people like, if they have a little bit of knowledge, they're going to be like, okay, this person has too much power. We need to silence this person. Their voice is too big. They know something they don't need to know about, and we need to try to reform this whole conversation.
You just said it, the way they view us. You said something they don't need to know about. Yes, we do. We're human beings just like them. Nobody's better than anybody else, and there's no reason any secret should be kept. Joe Rogan is the perfect example. He used to be a liberal. He probably still is.
I think the new ones that they're doing it to, and I don't think it's new necessarily, the people that they're doing it to, but if anybody doesn't understand, I actually reshared this. It was one of Alex Jones's last interviews he did recently with Steven Crowder, and he was talking about the outcomes of his trial. Just wait. The next one is going to be Kanye West. I didn't actually think it was going to be that big.
Right.
But Kanye West is going to be the next person that gets silenced. He's looking at a $200 million lawsuit from Floyd's family.
What does all of this tell you?
So let me just note this though before we go into that. Prior to this lawsuit, Kanye West donated $2 million to Floyd's daughter for college.
Yep.
I'm sorry if that wasn't enough, but now they need to try to drag him through the dirt and say that he said something that nobody else did.
Who do you think is putting them up to?
Repeating what Candace Owens.
Kanye had a meeting with Big T. When was it? Was it just before the 2020 election?
Yeah, but
it was like some big meeting where after he and her broke up, and he went to.
No, his handler was there with him. She was there too.
Okay.
The first time that they met, she was there too.
Kim was his handler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, duh.
That's what I meant when
what
you
does
said
all
she.
this tell you? This should tell you that they're friggin' panicking. Kanye's buying Parler. Elon's buying Twitter. Truth Social's been around since 2011 and only recently come online. You've got Gab, you've got Foxhole, you've got Odyssey, you've got Rumble, which is owned by Dan Bongino and somebody else. All of these things are coming up where they can't silence them, and they're starting to freak out. So they're going to be throwing lawfare around like crazy, suing this person, suing that person. I mean, they just got billions from Alex Jones. After the November 4th election, what do you think is going to happen to all of these fines and lawsuits and all this lawfare?
I mean, are they allowed to overturn things that have already been passed?
They can throw it out if it's illegal. If it doesn't go according to the Constitution. See, what they did was they violated Alex Jones's right to free speech. I don't give a shit if you're right. If you're wrong, you have a right to say it. Let somebody come along and correct you later and then discuss it. But you don't go and sue him for billions like that. They violated his First Amendment. They violated a lot.
So let's break down just his case. Just think about the lawsuit. So they were trying to say he made money off of Sandy Hook. That was the argument.
So
And
what if
you're
he
talking
did?
about no.
So
he didn't make money. He didn't make money off of Sandy Hook, though.
No, he didn't.
You're
But he
talking
might have
about
made it off of monetization of his stations.
yeah, yes. They based it on how much money he made in that
Right.
time, and you're talking about maybe less than 20 minutes of actual him talking about it. The rest of it was just his. He does a 3-hour show every day.
His opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
He could have covered all that in one show for a tiny little segment, and they would have still taken all the same amount of money they did from him.
Yeah, they're freaking out because he told a lot of people what was going on. Did you see the film before they showed the part that came onto the mainstream media? The guy
Yeah.
was laughing it up and joking, and then he had to go and organize his thoughts for a few minutes to make himself cry. I'm sorry. I believe Alex Jones, and I think that this is lawfare. They violated his Constitution, and when we get the House and the Senate back, these things will be corrected.
Yeah.
This is small stuff. This is stuff just to keep us in fear, to keep us worried, to shut us up. They think if they sue all these people, that it'll keep people like you and me from opening our mouths. Really? No.
Sopranos fan said
This
November
year.
4th.
This year.
Or do you mean November 8th of this year?
This year.
So are you referring to the 4th or the 8th?
November of this year when we have the midterms.
Oh, just a month. Okay.
We
People
take
thought you
back,
said a specific date.
this is the red wave. We take back the House, we take back the Senate. And we get rid of the rhinos.
Huh. The ones that have already been primaried. How many already?
Mm.
I can think of at least one.
Yeah, but they'll be outnumbered. There'll be more of us than there are of them.
Right.
I mean, this is why they're freaking out and trying to sue everybody, because they don't know how else to shut us up. I'm expecting false flags.
I mean, I think they're showing them with the hands they're dealing when it comes to what they consider to be big news coming into these elections.
Yeah, I don't listen to.
They're talking about I think they're talking about arbitrary things. I think they're when to the public's eye, I could see why you don't think it's arbitrary. When you're talking about women's rights and abortion, I could see how you don't think it's arbitrary because of what you've been raised in. But I think it's arbitrary to the actual elections in themselves.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement to make. I know. Like, strangely, that according to like media, that would be a very bold statement to make. But I think something that's been protected for the longest time shouldn't have actually been protected. It should have been a state-to-state issue a long time ago.
It should have always remained with the states, but because of Gloria Steinem back in the 60s and the whole burn your bra women's lib movement, it went the other way.
Yeah, because
like I said, I was saying in your chat the other night, I think everything we learn something comes from divine inspiration to get us going in that direction, and that can be perverted. And I think abortion is one of those things. I think abortion has its place in the medical field, but not as it's being used right now. This is wrong. This is not birth control. This is murder. Birth control implies you don't get pregnant in the first place.
Yeah, this was the conversation me and you were having the other day.
Yeah.
I said, as long like I would be more. We need to find a middle ground with everybody when it comes to this. And I said, my middle ground where I could put my foot down is I don't think this should be thought of as birth control.
Right.
You've already
It's
passed.
not. It never was.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, I would say the stigma around it would definitely push it towards that. The
That's a created
availability
stigma.
of it and the access of it prior.
Yeah, it's a created stigma. And the things that women have had to go through just to have decent birth control, it's unflippin' believable. Unflippin'
I'll let
believable.
everybody field this question. Soprano said, do you think we should vote straight red?
I believe, hopefully I gave a little bit of insight on to my answer earlier. No, I don't feel that it should be voting straight red, nor straight blue, nor straight purple, or pink, or what have you. Vote
That's
your
how
conscience.
rhinos get in.
Yeah, do your due diligence. Are you voting for the person that shares your ideals that you share most? And
Better
that
yet, look at their track record.
Hey,
that's public knowledge. Just look up their track record.
Right.
Well, and look at their individual stance on things. Don't worry about what party they are. Worry about
sometimes
the issues that you find important. You worry about the issues that you find important.
They don't always do what they say. They come in with all these flowery words and tell you, no, look at what they've done. Mm-hmm. By their fruits you shall know them. And it's a lot easier than digging up on what they tell you. It's easier to look at what they've already done or what they already haven't done because it's already public record.
That's why I want to
between now and November, you really don't have time to research the things that they say. You just have time to research the things that they've done.
Well, that's why I'm all about the new idea that I want our political leaders to have to go through the same scrutiny that we have to do across the country with a 90-day trial period for any position.
Okay, you see what Trump has gone through as far as scrutiny is concerned. Do you think any president after him is going to escape that?
No.
This is a precedent that's been set.
I think it depends on what party he is and if it fits the media narrative.
I don't think there's going to be a party in a few short years. I think the parties are going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I really do.
We got to get rid of this two-party system.
Did Liz Truss go through that trial period? 45 days, gone, done. Yeah. No, you're not good enough. Hit the bricks.
I wonder who came to her with some sort of background information that she needed to get the hell out of there over. Kind of like Theresa May. They told her she was going to be assassinated. So maybe, and Liz Truss did, what was it she did that I thought was going to piss off the deep state? Oh, the fracking.
I'll answer a Soprano fan. What got me really interested was Bernie Sanders. I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, but then that whole thing got hijacked.
Yeah, it sure did. And he got 2 mansions out of it.
I agree with Terry. I think there are people that will fall into these parties because their party doesn't fit there. Don't get me wrong. I do think
we can take Bernie Sanders.
You're absolutely correct.
Bernie Sanders is a good example. And what's her name? Who just picked a party affiliation? She's from Hawaii. That used to be Air Force.
Okay, look at Bernie Sanders there for a minute. Everybody that wanted to vote for him. Yeah, in the beginning of all of this, I didn't support Trump from the very beginning. I was with Sanders in the very beginning.
Okay. I think all three of us
And
were then.
when I started paying attention to what was going on and I saw what Bernie was doing, I was thought, ooh, I don't want to put my word behind him. No friggin' way. So I backed out.
It was the DNC convention where she came in and they did that.
No, it was when I started digging into his past, and then I saw some things that I had totally
For
forgotten
you,
about.
but yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it was the DNC convention where it was just, oh, okay, that's obvious.
No, I was out before
It wasn't
that.
even a DNC convention. They were staging
Yeah,
violence
I was
at his
out of it
home.
before then. I was undecided at that point. I even had a sign that I had in my yard that said "Nobody's good."
Right.
Yeah,
But the whole
everybody
point
equally.
was Bernie showed his colors with the convention, and then
Yeah.
afterwards he showed his colors, and I was so glad I had backed out that early. So I started listening to Trump. I started listening to Clinton. I didn't like Clinton, but this is stupid, the things that we do because of stupid things. My mother was a Clinton fanatic,
sure.
and my mother was a shibori artist. And Hillary Clinton came to our little town in Hendersonville one day. They built a stage on the same street I lived on, 3 blocks from me, right across Main Street, for her to get up there and grandstand.
Interesting.
My mother picked out a scarf. You know, she had been painting these scarves, and she was trying to decide which one was going to be for Hillary. And she picked one out and she boxed it up really nice and put a ribbon on it and took it down there and gave it to her security and asked them to give it to Hillary. Well, Hillary wrote her a letter. And my mom took that letter and she framed it and hung it in the shop.
Wow.
And every time I looked at that letter, you know, when you get one eye smaller than the other, you know, the side eye thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I just cringed every time I looked at that letter. So I started listening to Trump. And it was just everything that he was coming out with and the things that we knew. I was already a conspiracy theorist way, way back when.
Sure.
And all this information that was coming out in the 90s while Bush was president and I was reading it, you know, so I was clued in. So I went for Trump. And I'm glad I did. But I did it because I looked at their track records, not what they promised us.
Right.
But that's why I say, more than anything, we can't just look at their party affiliation, because there's people that have to identify
Right.
with one of these parties in order to be on the ticket.
Right. You have to vote for the right person, and you have to take responsibility for your vote. I think too many people just go in there and check the box because they get the little sticker.
Yeah. I'll be the first one. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be the first one to say it, but people like Bill Maher, people like to think they know where he's going to line up on politics. But when it comes down to it, I think he's a classic liberal, not the current day liberal. He's a libertarian. There's a difference, and a lot of people don't understand the difference between a liberal and a libertarian.
Bill Maher has a pair of red
liberal.
shoes.
Yeah.
Bill Maher has a pair of red shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fact. Yep.
He belongs to the Red Shoe Club. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
Do you think it's because of how long he's been in Hollywood, or what do you think it is?
You know who his father was?
Yeah.
Who's his father? Who's your daddy?
I mean, I don't know him specifically. I just know about his upbringing, like how he was raised when it comes to religiously, his views on religion, and how his parents established those. I'm just saying how his parents helped establish those.
His father is Hugh Hefner.
What?
His father is Hugh Hefner.
I heard that. I
haven't heard that one
somewhere.
Gotta give us a little more with that.
Oh, the Anons came up with it. There were memes flying all over the place. We're putting the genetics together with these people and picking out their parents. I mean, my God, the Huma, was it Huma Abedin? Ocasio AOC, George Clooney's wife. They all look alike. There's like 8 of them. They all look alike. And they're all famous.
And of course, you know, the Playboy Mansion was nothing more than a honeypot.
It was a CIA front, and they had tons
Right.
of
Well,
homes.
yeah. Well, yeah.
And Bill Maher belongs to the Red Shoe Club, and he not only belongs to the Red Shoe Club, he's a wizard. These people really get my ire up. Wizard, my ass. Come on, grow up. Went all decked out in that blue. It was a blue floor-length coat. He had his red shoes on. He had the hat. He had the gold embroidery all over it, and he had the staff, and he's going into one of the meetings. And it was not Halloween.
So Sopranos fan said Bill Maher makes fun of a lot of people wearing masks outside, and he said he wanted to get the jab so that he could have a life. Let me give you another comparison. Sopranos
controlled.
He flipped.
Think about it like this, though. Ben Shapiro did the same thing.
Yeah.
I always say you have to think about them on both sides, because if you're not thinking about what people are doing it on both sides of the aisle, then you're really getting the message. But wait a minute.
Well, doesn't that right there
Filipino
prove
Raquel as well?
Doesn't that
good
right
afternoon
there
in the Philippines.
Doesn't that right there prove that the whole duality thing is nothing more than a division tactic? Some people did it, some people didn't. A lot of Republicans, a lot of Democrats did it, and a lot of the other ones didn't. And some aren't getting their booster. It crosses party lines. It crosses all lines, religious, familial, all lines. That right there should show us the stupidity of duality.
I think more than anything, what it really did was it showed us who was more in need of money at the time.
Yeah, and
who was willing to take a sideline and say, okay, I'm going to wait and see what happens.
30 pieces of silver.
Judas.
They said it's going to be biblical. What is it now? The 6th and 7th angel or something we're waiting on to pour their vials out. Where's Michael when we need him?
Oh, he's probably just waking up.
Oh, I got the sweetest letter from him today.
This is a great one from Sopranos fan. I'm going to let Mudrabbit field this one. Bill Maher's father is Hugh Hefner. Juan 07 is JFK Jr. Melania is Princess Diana. LOL, what's going on here?
No, I don't. 107 is Wayne Willett. He's a private investigator, and he's just in Lake Flint. I don't know what connection he has with Trump, but he's not JFK. As far as Melania, no, she's not Princess Diana. I've seen Melania all these years. She's always been beautiful. She was a great model. I'm surprised he left Marla Maples for her. I mean, he was with Ivana for a long time, and then he cheated on Ivana with Marla Maples, and then he was with Marla Maples. I think she's Tiffany's mom. Now, I don't know if there was any infidelity on his part while he was married to Marla Maples, but he kind of impresses me as the guy that would just come to you very matter-of-factly and tell you he doesn't want to be married anymore. But no, Melania has always been just Melania. What was the other part?
He was just saying what's going on here. He was just pointing out the comedy in it about probably not knowing these things.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, we've got what is this? Sex Find Pro.
Well, let's not read that out loud. Don't read everything that comes.
Is that one of your girls?
No, it's not one of my anything.
No.
That's just
I was getting ready to block.
Come on, Mudrabbit. Is this your first show?
Yeah.
Don't read everything that comes up in the chat. Relax, Jake Hudson.
Oh, the trolls.
Okay,
I swear to God. And they're probably a guy with a beard and a beer belly.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. To what Sopranos said about Shapiro and Maher appearing on each other's shows. So when Ben came on Bill Maher's show, Bill Maher went into him, and he all of a sudden, because he was a Republican, Ben Shapiro was responsible for everything that Donald Trump has ever said. And he came out with one of these great lines, and he goes, "Do you think Donald Trump is an evil genius, or do you think he's a moron? Make up your mind. You can't be an evil genius and a moron. There has to be a middle ground."
Okay, I'll admit I can relate to the evil genius part. Evil genius doesn't necessarily mean the person is evil. It's just they have a wicked sense of humor.
Okay, question for Mudrabbit playing off of that. How much of this is Big T and how much of this is military? And Big
Look
T
at
is
what.
just
Okay,
playing
okay.
a part
Look at
of what the military tells him what to do.
Okay, what did he do in New York and what did he do in Las Vegas? He was bait for the mob. And
Right.
he didn't do a damn thing except stand around with his hands in his pockets. He's just bait. He's to keep all their focus, them in brackets, to keep their focus on him.
Yeah.
Why do you think they raided his place? They have no idea what he's up to. They're freaking out because they don't know who's doing what and who has what. He's just standing there getting their focus on him. He's not doing a damn thing. He's doing what the military needs him to do. You see how that works?
Yeah.
This is the same thing he did with the mob in New York with Rudy Giuliani. It's the same thing he did in Las Vegas. And what did he do? He cleaned up New York. He cleaned up Las Vegas. This is the same thing he's doing on a larger scale. All of that has been preparatory to what he's doing now. They've been grooming him all along. This is in the military's hands. This is devolution.
Yeah. Oh, that's obvious at this
He turned it over to them.
Yeah.
He turned it over to them.
Yeah.
Turned over the nuclear codes, everything, gave it all to them. That's why they raided his place, because Bill Clinton lost the nuclear codes, kept his papers in his sock drawer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't know where half of Bush's papers are. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They want to know what he's up to. They want to know what he has on them, and they think he has this information. He doesn't have this information on him. That would be stupid. I have every confidence this is going to work out just fine, but I also know it's going to get pretty hairy.
You're right, Aaron. Aaron said the deep state is freaking thinking de-evolution is real.
Yep. Yep.
Things always get worse before they get better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then Sopranos fan had a statement. I think Carrie Cassidy was seriously entertaining the idea that Melania is
Melania.
just Diane. Because I know it's Melania, but I was just trying to read it as he said it in case it was somebody different. I don't know where she's getting that. So with Carrie Cassidy, I have a love-hate with her.
I'm sorry.
She did some things right, but not everything.
No, I don't follow that at all. I'm sorry.
I don't think Melania
is Melania. Melania is also a polyglot. She's also extremely intelligent. I mean, he's got a super high IQ. You think he'd be with a dumb blonde? Hell no.
Of course not.
Mm-mm. She's smart herself.
Yeah.
What is it? 5 languages she speaks?
If I wasn't just into people because of the way they looked, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't run some of the networks that and some of the programs that Donald Trump ran.
Yeah, but we don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes like they do. So we might not understand why they do something. But they've told us what happens is when they do something we don't understand, the Anons go digging through the drops, and then they find the drop, and it's either a delta or a marker. Just like the 1118. 2011, 1118. Huh?
It's been just absolutely astonishing
It's
watching.
been spot on for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it wasn't Miss America that Donald Trump ran. What was it that he ran?
I think he owned it.
America.
He owned it. Didn't
But it was
run it. He
from.
owned
But
it.
I thought it was from Mexico or somewhere else.
Miss Universe.
Miss Universe, yeah.
Okay, so I knew it wasn't Miss America. I just so
Well, there's Miss America, then there's Miss Universe.
Yeah.
if he's not trying to
same
propel
pyramid.
if he's not trying to propel ideas like that or be influenced by the more attractive person or the dumb blonde, as you say, why would he perpetuate something like Miss Universe?
Well, I these people who get all upset about, him with all these beautiful women. Look, I'm sorry. Men appreciate beautiful women.
Agreed.
Period. That's how we're built. We're built to entice them. We're built to be soft and feminine, and men are built to appreciate it for the most part. Now that excludes the gays. I'm sorry, but yeah. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's talented. She's just everything a guy could want. So what's the harm in him being with her? Come on.
As long as she wants world peace, I'm okay with it, I guess.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, people are finding all kinds of things to nitpick on about her. They're probably just jealous. Every guy would like to have a girl like her.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that would be jealous of Hugh Hefner, but it doesn't mean it's the right message being put forward,
It's for different reasons. People are jealous of Hugh Hefner because they think he gets all these women that he can, go to bed with. People are jealous of Donald Trump because he's got a woman that loves him, who's smart, who's beautiful, and who helps him, who's a helpmate. Women these days, I'm sorry, I'm a little old-fashioned in that direction. Women these days, they expect, I look at these ads on Reddit and stuff about women looking for a guy, and it's like, no wonder you're single. They have all these expectations and all these attitudes and all these, like, you're going to take care of my ass. It's like, you're going to be old before you find anybody or before you get a clue.
What subreddits do you peruse there, Mudrabbit?
Okay, the one that I like, and it's on YouTube, is Charlotte Dobray.
Okay.
She's funny. And you've got to look up Charlotte Dobray's Christmas gargoyle.
Gargoyle.
Charlotte Dobray, Dobre, Christmas gargoyle.
Storing that. Okay.
This is Karen Neighbor.
Trump FBI help him keep the mob out of his casino.
But she's my daily laugh. She does Reddit, she does TikTok, she does all those things.
Mudrabbit, did you see what Aaron put up? He said Trump had the FBI help him keep the mob out of his casino. He knows the good guys at the FBI for many years.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have every confidence this is going to turn out fine. And I also believe in the power of positive thinking, that the thing you focus on is what you bring to yourself.
Yeah.
And we're watching, literally, biblically, the falling away. There's so many people falling away right now. Come on.
I don't know. I still I don't trust everything about Trump. I know he's a better alternative than others, but just like I do with any politician, I have to weigh out everything that they've done.
I have a feeling that after
Trump,
the presidency is going to change.
Well, and that's why I like your views on this more than anybody's, is because there's diehard Trumpers, and then there's somebody like you where you can tell me openly that you think DeSantis would make a better president, whether he's running right now or not.
Yeah.
You can tell me, and you can give me reasons why he would be. You're not just, set on Trump being the almighty forever, because there are people like that as well.
Yeah. Well, you have to be logical about it. It's people get their emotions tangled into it. And I'm not saying I'm immune to that, but if you step back from it and don't, try not to take every little bit of it personally, it falls together a little better for you.
Mhm.
You know,
Very
DeSantis is
true.
going to be a great president, but I don't think he's going to do it right away. I think he's future.
Oh yeah, no, I think he's building his platform right now.
Yeah.
Who
But
do
he's
we get
already
first
told
as
us it's
president? All I want to know is who do we get first as president? Kerry Lake or DeSantis?
DeSantis with maybe Kerry running. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? The DeSantis Lake ticket. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound as good as DeSantis Owens' ticket. Come on, what are we talking about here?
And you also have the female governor up in one of the Dakotas,
Oh
South
yeah.
Dakota. Help me out here. Yeah, she would make a great candidate as well.
Yeah. Her.
I
I'm
still
still a little
want
ambivalent
Candace
about
Owens to get in here. Still want Candace Owens to get in here at some point. I'm not gonna lie. I think she would be a great
I don't
forerunner for the
think
party.
it's not easy to go from nothing to something that big. I mean, of course, Trump never does anything small. So this makes sense for him. But anybody else usually has to come up through the ranks, like, you know, first a governor or a senator or a congressman or something like that. I would not be at all surprised to see Candace Owen in our Congress sometime in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be a great addition. I think she's just awesome.
I could see a lot of politicians also pulling her in as a running mate
Mm-hmm.
too. I mean, yes, she would make a great senator. She'd make a lot of she could fill a lot of positions very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I also wanted to point out what Aaron said. He said Trump has inspired so many people. We are the future, not Trump
Yep.
forever. And
Exactly.
that's very
Exactly.
well phrased.
I was just going to say we've got a wonderful lineup of people for the future. We've got all these people that are just coming up and stepping up, and I could never do that. I don't think I could ever be able to do something like that. It's not easy. And look at Carrie Lake. Oh my God, I'm so impressed by her. She's so graceful.
Her poise is just off the charts, and obviously that comes from her involvement in being with
In journalism, yeah, she's
yeah.
even that.
Let's call it what she did. Legacy media. She was engulfed in it.
She's more than polished. She's the diamond.
Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
diamond. She is just amazing. And I watch her and
Yeah.
I just go, oh, every little girl should aspire to be just like her.
Absolutely.
Did you guys get to see her interview with Steven Crowder?
No, I didn't see that. That must be good.
So it was taken off of YouTube after it was put up because
Of course it was.
Of course.
because she said, no matter what, if I win or lose, I want all of the people that voted for me or didn't vote for me to know that it was a fair election. That
Right.
alone got her got his whole show taken down because she wants people to vote for.
Yep.
She wants people to know their vote is counting.
Right.
Wow, what a weird statement to make.
Oh man,
How
I
is that a
am
bad
loving
statement in any way?
I'm love watching Katie Hobbs. She's making such an idiot out of herself.
Trump should pick Candace and Terry Lake, 2 VPs, Aaron said.
Honestly, Aaron, that kind of goes with what John Teeter talked about. 5 presidents in 2036. You know, in this partisan politics that we were talking about earlier, if I could vote for both governors here in Illinois, I would, for some messed up reason to where it's just there's too much of extreme going on in between both parties and everyone here. It's just, where do you find that middle ground at? How do you work together? Do you even work together at all? Or are we just going to have partisan politics for forever?
Well, that's what I worry about with the debates. Are the debates going to be so staged that we don't actually get to pick the questions that are going to these candidates. I'm tired of watching debates get set up like that. You
Yeah.
can see it. Where they
Yeah.
already get the questions,
Oh, we're all
you know,
getting
laid out
tired.
to them. If you're not taking questions from the audience and actually hearing from your constituents, I really don't care what you're up there
Yeah.
showboating about, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, that whole thing is comedic. I don't know how she got elected in the first place. She just talks so much, so softly. Oh Lord.
Eric Parsons, thank you for stopping in. He said, watching or staying up for Trump inspired me to be more patriotic. I just hope Biden and Trump survive 2023.
Hello, Eric.
Why is that, Eric? Why do you want them to survive 2023? And you better really pray for Biden if you want him to make it that far. I hate to be mean, but oh man.
We gotta do
Be
more than
honest
pray
here.
for the man.
Some people are sharper than others. I hate to be that guy.
I know.
Take a 1 minute break. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're fine.
Carrie Cassidy.
What are your thoughts on Carrie Cassidy?
I know of her from way, way back.
Well, yeah, because I used to follow her when she was with was it her husband?
Yeah, I think so. I used to study stuff with Laura's group, and I think
Laura
there was
Eisenhower?
no Laura Knight Jadzik, the one I told you about, Cassiopeians.
Okay.
I didn't make the cut, so which is why I'm here. But the whole point
We're happy to
was,
have you. And yes, it's Bill Ryan.
thank you. Laura has an extremely strict vetting process. And the people who join this group over time really go through, I guess the best way to describe it would, if you've ever read Gurdjieff, The Fourth Way, we go through a lot of super deep introspection, some of it quite painful. And we're given mirrors where, we're told from just nothing subjective, just everything objective, what people observe from us. And that can be painful for people who are going through something heavy at the time, which I was. And I just didn't make the cut for the final group, but I learned a lot. And she had Carrie Cassidy. I think she was doing some work with Carrie Cassidy at one time, and Carrie didn't make the cut. And I see why, because Carrie doesn't do the right research.
No.
Carrie had that guy Bill on that was talking about the secret space program.
You're talking about, well,
The guy's
okay. So Bill Ryan
the
was her
guy's a
husband.
grifter. Huh?
So Bill Ryan was her husband. I didn't know if you were referring to that.
No, this other guy that she interviewed. This was an interview that was recently going around the web. The guy's a known grifter.
Okay.
Our group, and I can't take credit for any of this because everybody worked on it. We dig. All this stuff that Q wanted us to do was what we were doing back in the 90s, digging on people. When somebody came into the group, the background checks, everything. Vincent Bridges, oh my God, we uncovered so much dirt on him. And he was the big grifter at the time online. Everybody knew of Vincent Bridges. Dan Winter, all these people, we just found skeletons on them.
So let me interrupt you for a minute, Mudrabbit. Sopranos fan and Aaron Moriarty both said William Tompkins and Bill Tompkins.
No. This was just some guy. Oh God, I can't remember his name. He was wearing a beige suit that looked like it was two sizes too big. The guy ended up sometime after that interview, and I think the law ended up taking off for parts unknown and hiding out in some woods somewhere. It was all one big law enforcement drama after the fact. But she didn't vet him. And that was the whole point. If you're going to do something like this, you really, really have to vet your guest. You have to do the background checks. Now, I used to moderate for Kirsten Weldon before she died. A lot of people didn't like Kirsten because she had a rather abrasive attitude and a very abrasive personality. But the girl knew her stuff. and she did her due diligence, and she's been on the boards with Q from day one or week one, and she did her digging and she pulled up all kinds. She exposed Charlie Webb. She exposed 107. She exposed all these people, and now she's dead. You know, people don't do their due diligence. People don't look into the backgrounds of these people before they start swallowing their bullshit.
I think it depends. So this is actually an argument I get with people a lot that watch my
Bill
show.
Wood, I think that was it. I think that was
Was it?
the name.
Okay.
The guy, he was
Thank you,
wearing
Soprano.
a beige suit, sitting back in a chair. He was on the right, she was on the left. Yeah, I think that was the name.
So I get this from people all the time. I think it depends on what your platform is. I get questioned all the time that depending on what topics I'm talking about, that I'm either perpetuating delusion, perpetuating mental illness, or taking advantage of people. I get this a lot,
Yeah.
and I've tried to tell people. I was like, I'm not Aaron Moriarty. I'm not out here trying to find the right answers. I think Mudrabbit does way better research than myself. I honestly just like to talk to people. I'm not telling anybody this person's story is right or this person's story is wrong. That's not my job. I mean, this isn't my
Well,
job.
everybody has their place. Everybody has their place. Mine is digging up information and has been most of my life. Yours is doing this.
Yeah.
So we come together and we get it out there. Aaron has a show and he's reaching more and more people every day, and it's great.
But Aaron will, and this is something I won't do. If like I think it came up the other day, and I did nothing but like I was sitting on my end like applauding the screen. Andrew was on, and the topic QAnon got brought up, and Aaron made sure to do, hey, this is Q and this is Anon. They are not the same thing. We'll get them
Right.
conflated.
There's no QAnon.
He laid it out specifically just so if there was any kind of confusion for anybody watching, like he did want to break down what was going on. And I don't always do that. So
it's meant to be a derivative of an epithet to be thrown at a certain class of people.
Well, yeah, it's the media, balling it up. It's a wiki QAnons, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the leakanons or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Yeah.
But back to Carrie Cassidy.
Those filthy people that won't stop looking into information.
Yeah, exactly.
And they would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for us meddling kids.
Gosh.
Yeah, right.
She fit in the sky. See if it helps.
Where's Dick Dastardly when you need him?
So back to Carrie Cassidy. I think she just responds too emotionally. What really kind of threw me off with them, it was a while back. It was it had to do with Carrie Cassidy. It had to do with what's his face, Governor Ventura. It was actually back when they had Andy on the show, and Carrie Cassidy was able to talk people into not letting Andy be on the show. Bill Ryan actually believes a lot of the stuff that Andrew says. Carrie Cassidy decided off of meeting him that she no longer wanted to do stuff with him. They actually had an interview that they did that they never made public.
I saw an interview she did with Kirsten, and as well as Kirsten used to dig up information, she argued with her.
Yeah.
Instead of looking it up, she's got a computer right there in front of her. Through the interview, she kept having these little disagreements with her all through the interview.
Yeah, just Google it.
I don't know what's gotten into her.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, and I think I think her whole mentality of going into it kind of changed after her and Bill actually split up, because I think they were a good dynamic to have. Like you had a more.
I wonder if that was the catalyst, because yeah, somewhere along the line she went left when we all went right. So I don't know what's going on. And I also try to warn people about other people, but I don't know. Con men and con women just have this certain swag they pull over people that just get them to believe it. I mean, I'm watching what's happening with Lynn Wood. Oh my God. It's
Yeah,
I
something
don't
else.
buy him for a second. I haven't.
Huh?
I don't buy him for a second.
I don't either. And he comes on so
Lin
damn
Wood.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do dad jokes. Yes, and he
Yeah.
does them very
Are we gonna
well.
do that kind of a cop out? What is that? Dad jokes are just icing on the cake. That's what we get just for
Oh,
tuning
dad
in.
jokes are cool.
But there's a
I
lot
need
more
a
to the
set of
show than
drums.
dad jokes.
Yeah, I need a set of drums. So I can do the bada bump. Mad Poke does it.
Let's see. Sopranos fan thinks that he also thinks that she's a little more emotional in her thinking approach. Definitely way too argumentative lately in her interviews.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I also I kind of agree with
Yeah,
the
to put
Sopranos.
somebody like Kirsten W. with Carrie Cassidy and to watch that interview, it was a little interesting because you got the one over here that's abrasive and the one over here that disagrees.
Yeah. No, and it's, honestly, I think dynamics make shows, and I think her dynamic that she had with her husband, Bill Ryan, or maybe they were not married. I don't
Yeah,
really know their actual
Sopranos fan
status.
right there. I think it was her husband that was the anchor.
Yeah, well, I just think, yeah, he's an anchor, but I think she also kind of, gave him a chance to not dismiss people as well. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think it could have worked both ways. Like maybe he didn't dismiss somebody right away that didn't have enough evidence to present him right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they can help each other. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Together they did much better.
She's not like she used to be. I used to enjoy her way back when, but not anymore.
Yeah. I haven't checked into her in probably over a year.
No,
I haven't been interested.
I did meet Barbara Marciniak.
Okay.
She was the one who used to do the whole thing with the Pleiadians before they became the Cassiopeians, and Laura started doing it. And I met her in North Carolina at some sort of symposium that my mom and I went to. And she was really interesting. Very interesting. So a lot of the stuff she was telling us is a lot of the stuff Laura was coming up with, and Laura was expounding on it. But I like the way Laura dug into it because she actually put everything to the test. She didn't just channel the material and get it. She made everybody dig.
Yeah.
And they didn't give us answers. They gave us questions in the Socratic method, the much way the Q does.
Well, yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's some giant AI out there that has our backs, because I've seen it coming in 3 different directions now.
Well, yeah, it almost depends on how you bring people into the topic. Are you leading them into it, or are you saying, hey, go look this up, you'll be interested?
I'm the kind of person that'll throw all the cards on the table and say, here, if you're interested, go for it. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Right.
Because that's how I do it. I grab it all, I throw it on the table, and I start digging through it.
And I got to be honest with everybody. And I don't know if Mudrabbit knows this from talking to me offline, or if anybody else knows this from talking to me offline. I do have a different way that I approach things and think about things online. Like
everybody does.
I've told this to people offline. Yes, there's probably guests that I've had on before that I don't believe. There's probably guests that I've had on before that I do believe. Mm-hmm. But I just don't make it public on my channel. I don't think that's
right. You don't have to. You have to stay objective.
I don't want to become. Well, I just don't want to become biased in any way.
No,
I mean,
you're the host.
Biased. I am human. I am biased.
Right. You're the host, but you have to remain objective. That's your job.
Earth. What is that? By Barbara Marciniak?
Marciniak, yeah.
Marciniak. Okay.
Awesome lady. Is she still alive?
Terry's got a book from her, Pleading Keys to the Living Library.
Yep.
My mom had all her books.
One of my favorite books, really.
Yeah. You would enjoy the Cassiopeian material then.
Yeah, you recommended that to me not too long ago. Yeah.
If you like the Pleiadians and you like Edgar Casey, you will enjoy Laura Knight Jadzic's work. I don't take any credit for that. I just push it out there and send everybody back to her page. She's an
I-
awesome lady.
I
Yeah,
love Mabel.
I put the material into my save it for fall winter reading when I know I'm going to need a lot of
Yeah.
time where I'm just stuck inside for the next 2 months and I'm not going anywhere.
Oh my God. 2 months, Terry. That site can keep you busy for years.
I'm
That's how
sure.
much is there.
I'm sure it will. Yeah.
For years. There's
Yeah.
so much information. I mean, this woman has worked diligently and she's still working diligently. She's they've even got an exercise program. I have the disc called Aurelius. It's a breathing and movement technique that opens you up.
Mm.
So really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it takes
And
away
her
from Wim
daughters.
Hof, and no, it takes away from Wim Hof and a couple other things. It actually is really good research. I actually haven't heard about that.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. The woman is phenomenal. I can't say enough good about her. But she's also the kind of person, if you go at that group being all nice and sunshine and sweet all the time, they're going to call you on it. They want real. They don't want fake. Required reading was Gurdjieff's The Fourth Way, Opensky, Moraviev. I mean, just tons of reading material.
Yeah.
And she's no slacker herself. I mean, she works hard, and she'll do these sessions, and she'll get like 3 or 4 pages of printable information, and then everybody sets about digging, pulling up exactly the information these things are talking about.
Yeah.
It's one thing to just say, oh, this one high being came through me and said this. No, they don't want you to go, ooh and ah, we believe you. No, they want you to go look at it and find it for yourself. And they'll give you the direction to go, but they're not going to give you answers.
Yeah.
Same thing the Pleiadians did.
Yep.
So Terry, I got to pick your brain about that.
They're the teachers and
Yeah.
the wisdom. Yeah.
Terry, I got.
And they're very good at it. But now
Yeah.
they call themselves the Cassiopaeans, because the reason they were called Pleiadians is because they were coming through the locator in the Pleiadian star system. But we have moved, so now they come through Cassiopeia. It's the same group of beings.
Of which, if you go outside right now and look due east, of which that's where I was pointing to earlier this evening. If you go outside,
Cassiopeia.
you will see the Pleiades and Orion just coming right up over the horizon right now.
Mm-hmm. How cool
So
is that?
yes, sir, you had a question for me, Jacob.
Since we were talking about the Pleiadians, because you guys just explained it right after I did, of where the Pleiadians come from, and I know that. I was just where they supposedly come from.
These
is
are
your
6 density beings.
So do you think they've come from a location?
No, they come through a location.
They come through. So
They used to come through.
So my question is, leaving one location and going to another, the modes of transportation aren't really thought of.
No, we're moving through the universe. We don't stay stationary in any one place. So when information is coming at this planet, it's coming through a certain area. And you can't say it's coming from the north, it's coming from the south. We're talking about space. So when they were asked by Barbara Marciniak, they said, we come through the where Pleiades is located. That's the direction we're coming from, this information. When we moved through the galaxy over a number of decades, the information was no longer coming from the direction of the Pleiades. It was coming from the direction of Cassiopeia. And in the future, it'll come through another star system because we are moving through the universe.
Yeah. Cassiopeia is more of a northern constellation.
And before there was Barbara Marciniak, and after there was Edgar Cayce, there was the Seth Chronicles. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
Are we
those
talking?
Were awesome.
They're
Seth
based. They're
of,
yeah. They're based on Seth.
from ancient Egypt, Seth?
Yeah.
Seth Chronicles. What? No, not Seth. Seth.
Or
Seth. Let me pull it up on my computer so I can tell you which book it is.
or
She wrote a
Seth
whole
from the
bunch
Bible?
of books. No.
I thought
Let
it
me
was
pull
based
it
on
up and I'll
ancient
give you the
Egypt
author.
stuff.
I think her name was Roberta.
No, the person that
I
wrote
think her
it
name
was a
was.
different person, but I thought it was based on that information from ancient Egypt.
No, we don't believe the one that came after Roberta died. The true followers do not believe that person. They were just trying to take over from it. I don't know how correct their information is, but it's not the original.
Gotcha.
Let me see if I can find it.
While you're looking for that, you kind of set up Terry for an answer, and I wanted to pick his brain before we got too far off of this.
Sure.
What is your how would you describe extraterrestrials? You know, not of this planet. How would you describe them? And is it possible for somebody to be from a Pleiadian system or from other systems that you might have a different view of from your own perspective?
God, yeah, the thing that always gets me about the Pleiades is the star system as a physical. Like I said earlier, if you go outside right now, anyone can do this. Go outside right now, as long as you're away from city lights. You can look up just above the horizon, what you do is to find it. Look due straight east, like right now. What time is it? Yeah. Tonight, due east, hold your arm out at arm's length. Make a fist. It should be at like 3 fist bumps up right now. The thing about the Pleiades that has always fascinated me is it's a star cluster and it is just so
Mm-hmm.
lit that it takes a very keen eye to see it, and you have to know exactly where in the night sky it is. For as long as I can remember, I've always been able to go out and be able to pick out there's a Pleiades right there. I know it, I see it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and just growing into an adult and learning more about spirituality, learning about how supposedly this race of beings who are very much like me, you, and that is to say, human being, are in this totally other different star system from galaxies, or actually the Pleiades is in our same galaxy here in the Milky Way, but are you opening up the can of worms of what exactly are the stars? Are they what we've been told
You
is
don't. I don't even think you have to break
millions?
down what the stars are.
Yeah,
Let me play devil's advocate a little bit more and say, why is it because constellations have been around for quite some time, right?
sure.
Why is it that we can still see the same shapes of all the same constellations? Why haven't, if
Why
we're in
haven't
an ever expanding universe where everything's always moving
right,
away from itself, why is
right?
it that the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper are the same size? Why
Yeah,
is it that the star Orion's belt is still the same size?
the
What, like in
constellations.
our measurable eyes from Earth, why aren't they all expanding in different directions? They just
Yeah,
happen to
yeah,
be, right where we want them to be.
yeah. I've heard that they're moving so slowly that we just can't measure them. Well, the thing is, we've measured them since at the very least ancient Egypt, and they haven't moved one iota. And I, I can say this as well from even in my own lifetime when uh, I'm in my mid 40s here. When I was in high school, junior high school, I did a science fair project where I made my own star charts. I have watched the stars in the constellations. They haven't moved since then. They're not moving now. What are they exactly? I don't know. Is the Earth flat? I can't prove it. But to answer your question, what are ETs or extraterrestrials or Pleiadians? I don't exactly know. All I know is that the guardians, the Pleiadians, are somehow the guardians of the Earth. Here we are, whatever you want to call this realm that we're in. Somehow they're also connected to inner Earth of Agartha. It's been going
Mm-hmm.
on for incredible millennia. No one
Yes.
exactly knows what Earth is or what the sun is or the stars are, but yet it's
Well, the Pleiadians, now the
continuous
Cassiopeians, are
in
sixth
all.
density beings. They're not human.
That's why I said you kind of helped him answer that question right before I asked it. But it almost makes me wonder why you put merit to the name Palladians, because you wouldn't actually know that they came from that location, even if you met one. If they said I'm a
They're
Palladian,
not from that location.
that's why I
The
said is the
information came.
location significant? Are they leaving one location and coming to this?
Yes,
Why
the
are they known
location
as
is
Palladian
significant.
beings, and why do we reference a certain star system when we're
They
referencing that?
chose that. They chose that because they don't have names like we understand them. They have
Right.
sounds.
Okay.
So what happens is things in the universe are not static. And at the time they were speaking with Barbara Marciniak, the beam of information, or however you want to visualize it, was coming through from that location. They asked, where are you coming from? And that was the best they could explain it, because they're on sixth density. They're not anywhere here that in third density that they could explain to us. So the best they could explain was that we're sending you the information and it's coming through the locator, which I believe was the word they used, known as the Pleiades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when Laura picked it up,
Essentially, anyway.
yeah, when Laura picked it up, she actually asked them, are you the Pleiadians? And they said, yes, but now we come through the location of Cassiopeia. So wherever they are, that's the direction this information is coming from at this point in time. And as things through the universe move, it will come through from a different location. It's like moving the radio station around, you know?
So with that would they have to be at would they have to be from Earth at a different density?
No, they're not. They're not. They've never been.
So they
No,
are
they're
from a
six.
physical location somewhere, but the message is
No, they're
traveling
they're
from a
in
different
they're in
place.
sixth density. They're corporeal. Sixth density is not a physical realm. It's a corporeal realm. It's one level below the Godhead.
So why would the message travel from a certain direction?
Why would it travel over a telephone in a certain direction? I mean, this is how they get it to us.
I mean, I understand. If we're thinking of like radio waves and stuff like that, I think that most of that makes sense. Like the
Okay,
fact that
they explained to us that sometimes explaining these things to third density humans is quite difficult because we don't understand the mechanisms, how they work, but they break it down as best they can into physical terms so that we can understand what they mean. So what we all understood them to mean was that this information was coming from somewhere beyond Pleiades through that constellation reaching us.
so should
And
we no
now
longer
it's coming through Cassiopeia.
so should we now call them the Cassiopeia?
They preferred it. They asked that. They told Laura that they were called the Pleiadians when they were speaking with Barbara Marciniak, but since they come through Cassiopeia now, for her to please call them the Cassiopeians. And I assume that if they ever come through another star system as another locator, that they'll call themselves by that.
And did they reference the person that they talked through before? Is that the only merit
Yeah.
they give them, that they're the
Yeah.
same person?
Yeah,
Right.
they absolutely did.
Okay. Yeah, because that would be my main question is how do we know that these are the same beings that we were talking to?
It's
before?
like a
Because
lineage,
they make you
almost like a pope.
they have a way of taking you through the Socratic method so that you can determine that yourself. They won't sit there and tell you we are who we are. They'll give you the information to figure it out, and then you have to do the work. And that was the theme that ran through our group for the 10, 11 years I was with them. Reading that stuff was do the work. And
Yeah.
Q tells us do the research.
Yeah.
They don't just
Soprano-
come in and hand you the
Light
information.
work, dark work, shadow
Gladly
work,
help you if
scenes work, the reading, the studying, the meditating, the
yeah, and they're not going to waste their time with people who
channeling.
want lottery numbers. They're
Right.
not going to waste they don't waste their
Right.
time with people who want to know their personal
Oh, they're
futures or
gone
lottery
the
numbers.
next day. Yeah.
Yeah. You do that shit, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me catch up the chat just a hair. Sopranos fan said supposedly there are multiple branches of the Pleiadians, some of them benevolent, others not. The Aldebaran
Aldebaran.
faction
Yeah,
is said to be
Aldebaran.
the ones associated with Nazis, also possibly called Giza intelligence.
He's thinking of physical beings. These are not physical beings. These are something entirely different, and
Well,
their
I
name
think
is
that's
not
what
Pleiadian.
that's why I was posing that question. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people, if you point to a destination and call them Palladians rather
Right.
than the message
You
came
also
from
have
beyond
discernment. Yeah.
Palladian system, like
Yeah,
because
I
that's
think a
what I'm getting
lot of
from
that
you
was
now.
also disinformation put
Yeah.
out there because somehow the information we were getting from them as Pleiadians was striking some
Propaganda.
nerves. And let me tell you something.
Exactly.
Yeah, Laura and her family, her entire family, had to leave the country because the minute she started doing this stuff, the attacks were on. She almost lost her daughter to an automobile accident, and it was a targeted hit. So this is something serious. And I think I would not be. What happened with Barbara Marciniak is I think all this stuff came out and they labeled some sort of negative group Pleiadians so that they would associate it with something like this. When it was with the Cassiopeians, we were already ready for that. And when Vincent Bridges came along and Dan Winters came along, we had that same battle. And it was even worse. It got so bad she had to leave the country.
So
they live in France now. So
let me
it's
jump in
at
here
least
for a
this
minute.
time we beat them back, and at least this time no one has come up with Cassiopeians other than Laura. There's no disinformation on it because the main guy that was causing us all the problem, Vincent Bridges, he died. So he's gone.
What did Vincent Bridges die from? Do they know?
I did it one time. I can't remember what it was.
Okay, no, I just didn't know if there was like a public one, and then there was also
No, it was
one.
something benign, like, and I
Didn't
don't
know if
want
he
to
was
say what it
silent.
was because I really don't remember. He just died alone at home, but he was horrible. He was horrible. He was doxing all of us. I mean, he caused problems. Him and some of his people caused problems between me and my husband.
Oh wow.
That's how vicious these people are.
Well, yeah, they want to make the battle personal.
They want to make your life miserable, and they have no compunction whatsoever about calling you in the middle of the night and telling your husband you're cheating on him, which is exactly what happened to me.
They want to impact
And
your...
he knew damn well I wasn't, because I was always right there at home. I mean, these people, I swear these people are evil.
That's because they want to impact your immediate reality.
They want to shut us up. Laura was coming out with all kinds of information, and the advantage that Laura has is her husband is a physicist, Arkadiusz Jazik. I believe he's a theoretical physicist, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, the guy is super intelligent, and all this information that Laura gets, not only does she do her due diligence, he does his scientific diligence on it. We went into, for a couple of years, we went into this whole thing on fractals because of what it represented. He used to work at the Max Planck Institute.
Okay.
I mean, you're not talking about some people who just picked up a book and wanted to make a cult. You're talking about people who actually put the work in. And the fact that I never had to pay dues to get in, and the fact that I never made the cut, kind of speaks to the fact of the caliber of people that they're pulling in there.
They want to people with extreme knowledge or the people that don't have as much knowledge? Because I would take that
Oh, no, no,
two
no. These
ways.
people, oh my God. I wish I could do what most of these people do in the form of research.
Okay, that makes more
It's
sense.
amazing. It's amazing what they've come up with. It's amazing how they think. It's amazing the knowledge that they have dug up since the mid 90s. It's just, these people are phenomenal.
So
My problem was, you see, my problem was at the time I had just gone through a divorce. So I was on the raw side. I was a bit emotional. I've been married 32 years, so this was no small thing for me. And I had gone over there 2 years after I got the divorce. And of course, I just didn't stand up to the mirror. My
you were
emotions got in the
emotional.
way at every turn.
Mudrabbit, you were emotional about a 30-year marriage. How dare you?
Yeah, well,
Why would you get emotional about something that was probably a great fraction of your life?
it was. And
No,
there were a lot of
that's
things
what I
I
mean.
disagreed with.
That's expected.
But
That's why they went for that attack. They
let's put
went
it
for
this
something
way.
they
No,
knew was personal.
nobody ever attacked me. It just became apparent.
No,
And things
that's what it sounded
that were
like if
said.
they were trying to. But I'm just saying that's what it sounded like if they were trying to, break up your marriage, saying that you were cheating or this and that. It didn't
Oh,
work.
no, no, no. That was Vincent Bridges. That was
Oh,
one of
okay.
his buds. This was Laura. She never interfered in any part of my life. And they always encouraged me to be open with my husband about what we were studying so that there were no surprises. What happened was we had opened up a forum on Yahoo and I was a moderator. So there were 12 of us moderators. So what we decided to do, since we were heavily under attack and Vincent Bridges was still around at the time, we gave each other phone numbers. This was right before I had a cell phone. And what had happened was the mother of one of the moderators thought that because we had been speaking that he was cheating on his wife. So she got with Vincent Bridges and he sent her a bunch of shit. And she called the house and spoke to my husband and said, I was having an affair with this guy. Well, first of all, he had like just turned 30 and I was already in my 40s. Second of all, I'd never met the guy. Third of all, I was a moderator on a forum and we had decided that for safety reason that we would give each other our phone numbers. But this whole thing blew out of proportion and that's what started the spiral.
Okay. Well, let me get to the last question in the chat, and I say we're at 2 hours and 51 minutes, so let's try to wrap it up around the 3 hour mark. I'm going to give you guys both your closing statements, but I also wanted you guys to answer your takes on the last question. It was what do all of you guys think of the Bill Meyer and his Pleiadians?
I think Billy Myers was on something. I don't know if it's real or not, but he believed it. He wrote extensively about his communications with Sam Joss.
Yep.
Did you ever read those?
Yeah. There is a YouTube channel, Gas Meter, GASMETER, Gas Meter. He's been posting, whoever's running the Gas Meter channel here on YouTube has been posting a whole compendium of Billy Meyer and all of his experiences with Sam Cheese, the Pleiadians. There's a recent one that was just posted where it's apparently an eyewitness, not Billy Meyer, but an eyewitness that saw Billy Meyer with Sam Geese here in the third dimension. That was just recently posted. So Billy Meyer, I'll give credence to it. I'm on the mindset that Billy Meyer and the Pleiadians, they had contact. Sure.
So Mudrabbit just dropped off for a second. Hopefully she can get connected. I knew she was having some connection issues. I'll touch on this while we're waiting for her to get back. When it comes to Billy, I believe the story. Yeah, we're waiting for you, Mudrabbit. No problem.
Yeah.
When it comes to Billy, And I don't know, because he started to have a following when he got a little bit bigger, where he had a lot of people living with him, and almost like a commune started. And when it comes to the pictures that were presented, I think it's provable that the pictures that he presented with the saucers and stuff, that some of
Yeah.
them were faked. So with me, that the fake pictures throw me off. But when it comes to the actual testimony of him, I think that holds a lot more merit than what he was doing with pictures for some reason.
There's something there. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, I haven't totally discredited Billy Meyer, but at the same time, I do like to weigh in the fact that, the pictures have been proven fake. That's actually easy to do. Like, especially with the picture quality at his time, it's gotten probably even easier now.
I'm also wondering though if there was another case out of Gulf Breeze, Florida. It may be Mudrabbit may know more about this, but there was a case out of Gulf Breeze, Florida, where you take a look at the UFOs that was photographed in that one and compare it with the Billy Meyer case. Those two look so similar. The one in Gulf Breeze, I believe, has been pretty much proven as it was hoaxed. It was some guy taking some Christmas ornaments, putting them on some pie tins, and hanging them up off of a tree, and there's your UFO.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
Usually
some
the
of those
size
would be pretty hard to
comparisons.
fake.
It was usually
yeah,
the size comparisons with what they were seeing. With they could tell it was a model tree or a model UFO if you're going to, like, the sizes didn't make sense to people, especially looking at it in a perspective wise. Sopranos fan said, really kind of claimed he was only real contactee, which is obviously a huge problem for many, because just like Mother was saying, there's a lot of people that have said that they have talked to the Palladians. It's not just one single person. So yeah, that would be a big one to note to Billy.
yeah,
He's the only one, and they're not talking. And these beings told me that no, they're not talking to anyone else.
right.
Welcome back, Mud Rabbit. Which one?
Thank
Which one were
you.
you bringing up for Mud Rabbit, Terry, about Florida?
Yeah, Mud Rabbit. Do you know anything about the Gulf Breeze, Florida UFO case? I know I'm being in.
Oh, wow. Gulf Breeze and Casadega. Wow. Okay, Gulf Breeze is where everybody sees all the UFOs. I've never seen
Right.
it. And I
Yeah.
used to live in Maitland, so I was outside on my balcony all the time looking up, and I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Casadega is where all the witches live.
Okay.
So it doesn't surprise me that Gulf Breeze would have a bunch of weird stuff going on there because of Casadega.
Yeah.
It's like right next door.
Huh.
But yeah,
Small world.
that's been going on since I was a kid. Everybody's talked about it. I've just never seen it for myself.
So, hate to do this to everybody.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna give everybody their closing statements. Everybody's gonna get the floor soon, but to anybody that's tuning in, because to be honest, some of the topics we covered tonight, we'll see how long this is on YouTube and Facebook. I actually got it on 3 platforms. Well, 2 platforms, 3 channels.
Oh,
So
put it on
if
Twitch
you,
and dlive. They won't take it down there.
Yeah.
I don't have it on either one of those. I don't have it on my
You have
dlive, and
Twitch?
I don't have it on Twitch right now. I put it on the most controversial ones. I put it on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you
okay. You just want that.
Well, no, like when it comes to these topics, I feel like there's nothing wrong as long as we're explaining ourselves and why we're discussing these things.
Oh, hey, I get it. Remember, I'm the one the troll sniper.
The troll
I
sniper.
live for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from the lady that's reading the sex links in the comment section. Come on. Don't act like you're a professional.
Oh, hell no. I'm not
I'm just
professional at
joking.
anything.
But I want everybody that sees this now or gets a chance to see it later. Let us know if you guys want Terry and Mud Rabbit on again. we just did a 3-hour show effortlessly.
This was fun.
There's 100 topics that we could have still brought up, and I would have dove deeper on all of these topics, but
Oh my
it
goodness.
just has to do with the time that we were allotted tonight. We kind of started
Save
a
it
little
for
bit
another
late.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody let us know in the comment section if you guys want us to do another show. We'd be happy to do it. If you have any questions about anything we didn't cover, feel free to drop it in the comment section. And I'll start off with Terry.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Mudrabbit, and we'll give everybody their closing statements.
Well, we are just 20 days away from the general gubernatorial elections here in America.
Mhm.
I am still very much undecided on a lot of the elections here in the local state where I'm in, the state of Illinois, both state and local. But I'm doing my due diligence and doing my homework, and hope it's going to be a good one. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In no rush, Terry. We appreciate having you on, and you're always welcome on. I have a bunch of people actually reaching out for me to set you up to do other shows. I was like, well, I'm not necessarily his promoter. I have to set you up where you can talk to him as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because we got plenty of professional wrestling fans out there that want to know Terry's take on things as well.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about wrestling tonight, hardly any at all. But yeah, Mudrabbit, I hope you're enjoying the wrestling that I send you on YouTube.
My grandson does.
That's
The little
great.
one.
That's very honest.
It tickles me so much to know that I have a young fan, at least one of them down in Florida. That's wonderful.
So, Mudrabbit, would you like to take the floor? Do you got any closing statements tonight?
Yeah, everybody just be chill. Don't let this all get to you. Most of it is a show anyway, and it's going to get better. I don't know when. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to get some relief sometime soon. Don't freak out. That's all I have to say. Oh, and join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty.
Yes, exactly.
Can't miss that show.
In Mudrabbit, so when I played devil's advocate with you earlier about
Sure.
You telling people to dig into this stuff just now, I was like, this is why I wanted you to explain, in depth a little bit about like what we see in the media and what you're explaining to us. Just because I do think there's a middle ground of people that have no idea any other alternative idea. Like,
Yeah,
I thought
turn
you're
off
probably
the
not tuning into
TV
my
and
show, but I think it's healthy that we hear other perspectives of what's actually
and
going on.
not just mine, but everybody's. I mean, there are so many Anons out there that have done brilliant research. I mean, what I've done is like just a fly compared to what some of these people have done, and they've made names for themselves. And they're getting the word out there. And all we have to do is just take it. It's free. And if you don't believe it, go look at yourself, because they're giving you the sauce. They're giving you the references. They're telling you where it's finding. Don't be lazy. Go look at it yourself.
Yeah.
None of it is secret. I mean, I have read so much. I am so confident this is going to turn out fine. But my biggest fear is that when things get really hairy, people are going to freak out. And we've got to keep them calm.
I'll trust you. Like, trust me when I say I've talked to you about this a lot online and a lot offline. I think, because I think this is where we differ with our mindset, is I think we're gearing more towards a civil divide and more towards a civil war. And you've been ensuring me that it's not all doom and gloom. Like,
no, it's not. There's going to be a falling away.
I really do think we're reaching a boiling point and people are going to decide. But you keep referring to me about the great filter and people actually, growing.
You're absolutely right. But we've also been assured that it will be dealt with swiftly. It's not going to spill over. We're in the middle of a war, people. This is a war. And whether people grasp it or not, the Cassiopeans told us, and I believe the Pleiadians also told us, and Q also told us, this is a war for our minds. This is not a kinetic war. This is a war for our minds. So keep your mind on the right track. Do your due diligence.
Exactly.
Maintenance. And don't freak out.
I'll get Soprano's last comment in here before we go.
Sure.
Let's see. Med beds and free energy would help to ease people's anxieties. Not sure why we have to wait so long for those.
Okay.
I agree.
Tesla 369 and Combat Carl's. I'm giving you the information to look at for yourself. Tesla's 369 frequencies and Combat Carl and V Darkness Falls. They're both on Telegram. They all talk about the toroid. I don't think the med beds are real, honestly. I think there's going to be treatments for things, but I have a feeling that Tesla's going to work into that, and we're going to have one of those when the earth is healed, we'll heal naturally type of things. Do you remember when POTUS said it's in the dirt? This planet has everything we need to stay disease-free and stay healthy and live longer. I don't think we're going to need the med beds. I think once we get this planet cleaned up, we're going to be fine.
So I agree with you. I agree with you and disagree with you on that, Mudrabbit. Where I agree with you is I do think we have the ability to stay healthy on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Where I disagree is I do think there's med beds out there, and I do think they can cure any illness or ailment.
I
But
think we're going to
it'll
have
be-
technology,
hold on
yes.
one second. I think it'll be at a cost to you as a person. I think it will alter you over time. The more you use it, the more it'll make you less human.
Who knows? I think there will be technology, and I think technology will have its place for more serious things. But I think for people like me who has, minor issues, aches and pains, things like that are going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Medical advances just in your lifetime, Jacob, have already been leaps and bounds. I mean, look at arthroscopic surgery,
Yeah.
where, in non-invasive other forms of surgeries, it's who knows what's going to be in the medical field even 10 years, 20 years from now.
Oh yeah, no,
Really?
I love to point to this because
Well,
I've
like I
seen
said
such a
earlier
growth.
about island life being 25 years behind the time, we are hundreds of years behind whatever time the deep state has.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
They've been
Oh,
keeping us
no,
here.
I think that all points to us being a civilization with amnesia, which I like to quote a lot because I think we've been advanced before. I don't think that. I think we're naive to think that we're the most advanced thing or being to ever be on this planet.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But we'll end it at that. I appreciate everybody coming on. Thanos fan, thank you so much for keeping up the good conversation, good questions tonight. Oh, I'll get in these last few. EQ mind control is something to be wary of. Could be a lot more than a masquerade going on, and that's why I pose these questions to everybody about the stadium. So that's basically why I said I was like, well, how do we know that the people who come in there from this star system are the same ones that said they were from the Pleiadian system? Like, what makes us know and gives them the merit that says, hey, we're the same beings, we're not just posing as the same beings. I think it's a great thing to look at. But we truly don't know, I would say. I mean, I don't know if you guys can 100% speak for that. I don't 100% know what's going on. I just try to understand it the best I can with the tools in front of me.
What was
Make
it?
your own observations.
Yeah, Socrates said something to that effect, and I'm paraphrasing. The only thing I know is that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
as much
Brandon.
as we think we know, there's more to learn.
Oh yeah, there's always more to learn. Even if you're learning what not to do. I always tell people that. Even if you learn what not to do, that's fine. At least
Cautionary example.
Exactly. Cautionary example.
Yeah.
And then Soprano said you guys are all awesome. Well, thank you, Sopranos fan. Love having you over here. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Anybody that catches this later. Hopefully we can keep this online for a little while. We'll see.
We'll keep our fingers
Everybody have a
crossed.
great night.
Thank you.
Got my lucky rabbit's foot. Thank you.